Hit the fucking button.
And we are live. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of RDX Podcast. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. It's going to be a pretty lively episode, serving up some interesting information. We've already got 400 people in the chat. As we get started, thank you guys so much for joining us again. Hit that like button, share it out for us if you haven't already. We would appreciate it. Help us grow a little bit. So let's get into some intros. Tons of great topics, great panel as always. Shout outs coming up after. Again, thank you guys for what you do. Cody Swit, thanks for being here yet again. And how you been?
Vindication. 12 T-flops coming soon.
Huh?
Yeah, it's great. It's going to be good today.
What's a T-flop?
I don't know. Taco flops.
Okay. Well, either way, we had a good show today. We've also got Fonzarelli coming back from the grave. He just died. How you been, bud?
I'm still in the middle of dying. I don't know how long I'm going to be on this show, but I'm going to try to be here for the whole thing. I have a lot of coughing bouts I'm going through right now, so
Sound like you're going through death bouts. I mean, God.
Yeah, it's bad.
You need a bubble. You get Fonz a bubble.
Bad.
Hey, Tim Dog, brother, how you been, man?
Good, very good. Looking forward to the show. Let's get it on it.
How good does Tim sound tonight, Chad? Hear that? Yeah.
No more clipping.
Well, you're gonna clip still, but your volumes are a little more accurate now. So
right.
It's good. Zalker, how you been, buddy?
Doing good, man. I'm excited to talk about all this stuff. Everybody in the chat seems super excited. And is that a Batman made a game? I've never played.
Yeah, I wanted to get some.
What is that?
I wanted to get Arkham Knight footage up here so you knew what the game looked
What's
like.
that?
And
What's Arkham Knight?
I don't know. This is just don't watch out for spoilers.
I think
okay?
I own it. What?
Yeah,
No.
yeah. You just gotta play it now.
Today's gonna be fucking awesome, man. Chat, I hope you guys are excited. This gonna be great, man. It's a good night.
This game looks nuts though. This is running at ultra settings, 4K, 60 FPS on the PC, just to kind of give you an idea. But you're not going to see that. You're going to see 10 megs upload at 1080p because it's a live stream. But hey, whatever. So yeah, we do got a ton of great topics, man. I gotta give my shout outs real quick. By the way, if you're a patron, your name should be up in that top scroll. And of course, there's a shout out tier that updates around the 5th of every month. And this month we've got Dave. We've also got the great one for real, aka KY Bob, Johnny Virtuous, Foreign Object, Teo, John Blue, Darth Chaos. Sorry, brother. We've also got the Bad Boy Live, Vec Boss, Deviator X, Somebody's Chewing, Obi-Wan FTW, Tasteless Genie, Scout Trooper 74, Centurion, I'll fucking stab you, Centurion 1307, Real Deal Neil, Suicide King, god damn, this list is long, isn't it? Michael Bowen, Guillermo Cavillo, Chanagram, Naughty Nubbin, Alfonso Hogan, A-Squad, and of course Slim 73. As I re-inject myself with some adrenaline here. So we've also got, again, we do giveaways and stuff on Patreon. I will be doing 2 coming up here soon. So, hey, we've got a lot of interesting topics here recently, Colt Eastwood. I mean, there's been a few developments in the last day or so, right?
Yeah. Big news drop like on a random Monday morning, like right at the crack of dawn for me. Yeah. What else?
What was that? What was that? Was it they bringing a Pac-Man game to the Switch or... Well, I don't
know.
Happened?
Basically, Phil Spencer said everything you've been hearing about this new console, it's that and more. So stay tuned.
Now, who are they hearing that? Are they hearing that from certain podcasts, or where are they hearing that from?
Well, I mean, they've heard that from certain podcasts and certain channels, but I think Phil heard it from the people that are actually building the hardware.
Yeah,
it lines up.
Okay, yeah. So Phil, he kind of confirmed what the opposite of what the Sony guys are saying. The Series X did hit 12 teraflops. As a matter of fact, it might come in around 12.1. And here's the deal. That stuff was confirmed, as you guys know. We released videos on it earlier today, explaining everything in depth. They did, in fact, hit 12 teraflops. The specs have been partly revealed. They got more information coming soon. And the good news is now that they can actually talk about at least the performance target, and that is RDNA 2 Navi. They did confirm that as well. It's got RDNA 2 features that we might be able to actually get some more information out of people like David Breen this time around, or maybe Jason Ronald. We can have somebody on and get a little bit of performance talk out of these guys. That'd be awesome. But at the end of the day, man, Tim Dog, 12 teraflops. We'll go over the features after that, but kind of your general reaction to this when they actually dropped it, even though we knew it was going to happen. What were your thoughts when they finally announced it?
I was like, wow, I was very happy. It happened at 9 a.m. I was like, they finally did it. I knew that they were thinking about releasing the specs, but here they did. They're being bold, and they're saying what they got, and I think it was yet again a very strong move because just after that the internet went crazy. People are really hyped about this. Being that it hit 12 and how that whole story went, from when it all started, when we were, when you originally reported, that was something where, when you get some type of information that doesn't look believable, but you're hearing it's believable, and then you run into things like, is it GCN or RDNA? Because the amount of power that they're talking about
pretty fucking crazy.
Pretty crazy, very crazy actually. And for them to confirm it the way they did was just it was vindication, because we were the first to really report on it, and we were the first to put our reputations on the line.
Let's correct that, because I mean, people like to assume before they watch, but even in like my little video where I'm like, hey, these are the targets, this is what I'm told, 12 and 4.
Right.
Just take my word on it for now. I don't have a source. Bear with me. I never do that, right? So I put my name on it, what's left of it, whatever you want to say. Some people, you know what I'm saying? Like, I really went out on a limb because I was quite confident. We were quite confident. And we're not saying that, like I mentioned in the video, these numbers had come out before, right? Previously.
Mm-hmm.
And not that anybody was particularly suspicious of them, because they didn't understand that navi wasn't even really detailed yet back then, I don't think, or anything. They didn't understand that 4 teraflops would be pretty much equivalent to 6 in GCN and all that stuff. So they're like, why would it be 4? And I had mentioned in that video, well, I had heard that it's less T-flops than the X today, the low-end model.
Right.
So I did report on that. And I came back to it, and I'm like, well, it turns out those were pretty close, and that's actually part of how we narrowed down some of that information. But when it comes down to it, like, to say, hey, it's confirmed, these are the targets, wait and see. Yeah, we were definitely the first, by far the first, and they finally revealed this information, and that feels pretty good, man. It feels really, really good.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm here. Did you hit the button?
We hit the button, D-Batch. Have you done making a sale?
Yeah.
God.
So again, I don't want to sit here and say this first. I get tired of it. I know motherfuckers get tired of hearing it. But so you guys got to understand and look at it from our perspective as well. When you got frauds that don't actually watch our show, that say that we don't do this kind of stuff, and we clearly do. For some reason, it makes us want to say it more, and I try to resist because I know it comes off the wrong way. It's not really the type of person I am. But when it comes down to it, when you're right, you're right. Suck a dick, haters. How about that? So,
Jeez.
D-Batch. 12 Navi, RDNA 2,
Damn.
2080 super performance here. I lowballed it in my last video, and I just went off of what I got from a 2080, and this is more than that. That's what I said. This will be faster than my 2080. I might upgrade my damn 2080 now. I feel like a real PC peasant, because I will be when a console passes my PC. Keep this in mind, PC elitist. You're the peasant.
Yeah.
How much did you spend on that PC?
Oh, it's a
pretty penny.
workstation PC, $4,000, some shit. So
You know what? AMD foreshadowed this when they said that they're going to have a big Navi and it's going to disrupt the 4K market. They weren't lying, because when you really think about it, if the Xbox Series X is 12 teraflops of RDNA 2 performance, what is the PC equivalent going to be? It's going to be disruptive. Now, the reason why all of these GPUs from NVIDIA are so expensive is because they don't have any type of competition. Nobody's bringing it to them. So they're able to price these GPUs at these outrageous prices. Now with the Xbox Series X and these RDNA 2 cards coming from AMD, shit's going to be really fucking cheap. The prices are going to drop down. I understand why PC guys are fucking upset. That's all I'm here for. PC. Oh, it's not going to be a 2080 or 2080
because they're insecure. They feel like
those T-flops don't equate because I can overclock my card and this and all this shit. Like, listen, it's
like, you do understand that even if you do all of that, this console's a fraction of the price of your PC. Shut the fuck up.
And also too, Microsoft has, like, they didn't say it has RDNA 2 features. It said it's powered by RDNA 2. Now,
Powered by RDNA 2 architecture was technically architectures
Yes.
is what I think is what it said. It had an S on it.
Yeah, which is incredible that a console is going to be launching with the current shit from AMD, the current shit in the PC market. We haven't seen that from back in the 360 days, to be honest. So this is fantastic. Now, people don't equate, or sorry, they don't, I can't think of the word right now, but people aren't thinking correctly. RDNA 2 is going to be more efficient than the first generation of RDNA. Now, to wrap your head around the teraflops, because these guys, they're confused on the fucking teraflops. Now, if we were to convert this into regular GCN teraflops, the teraflops of this generation, the teraflops that, you know, were equated to the 1080 Ti generation, whatever, the Polaris cards, it would actually be 18 teraflops. Okay,
Some shit, yeah, crazy.
Yeah, because of the efficiency. Okay, leave that aside. It's 12 RDNA 2 teraflops. Now, 12 of the first generation RDNA teraflops would put it at around the 20, above the 2080 Super. We know this is the second generation of RDNA, so it's going to be more efficient. It's gonna produce. I'm
not gonna jump on that train. I'm just glad that we're getting what we're getting, and I'll keep expectations kind of. You know what I'm saying?
No, I understand what you're saying, but the point that I'm making is due to that efficiency, due to VRS, due to the APIs that Microsoft have being to the metal, it definitely will perform around the 2080 Super, 2080 Ti levels. 100%. I'm not saying it'll be.
That's why we always said it will rival. It will rival a 2080 Ti, meaning that it is of the same realm.
The closed box optimization as well, you know, with everything for gaming. So that works too, because I've watched a couple of videos today from a couple of PC guys that seem pretty level-headed, and they were really excited about the Xbox Series X. They were touting this thing as killing a lot of people's high-end rigs out there right now.
Yeah.
So I mean, these are this is coming from PC guys that are talking about this. It's not, you know, fanboys from the Xbox side. These are just level-headed dudes that own PCs that are saying this thing does rival high-end rigs.
Yes.
And
I mean, that's fucking math.
Sense.
That's math and science and shit, basically.
Yeah.
There is no disputing it.
Math
right?
and science and shit.
Hey, Darge Knight, real quick. He says, bring me next gen now. Did Xbox ever reveal their source? I get the joke. There was a guy when they revealed the 12 teraflops, right? Some guy basically said, well, what's their source?
I saw that.
We're like, it's Microsoft. What are you talking about? Like, oh my god,
they are the source. They are the plug.
Oh shit.
He was asking Microsoft for their source.
Yeah, he said, this is Xbox. Where's the source?
Phil, where's your source, bitch? Like, huh?
I don't know, man. I just again,
but
absolutely.
In all honesty, though, 12 teraflops in a console is fucking amazing. It's amazing. Microsoft is gaining mind shares. Like, I've been going to the forums that are like predominantly like Sony, and like these guys are like, wow, these guys are even impressed. Like,
well, you know what the weird thing is, D,
Mm-hmm.
is they were running a week ago with the $450 cost for PS5. They say it's more powerful than the Series X, but Series X can't possibly be under $600. Right?
Yeah, but they're still in.
That's what they're saying. They're saying Series X is a $599 console, but then they'll turn around and say PS5 is more powerful, and then talk about how Sony's build cost is $450.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. But when it comes to this, the specs that are leaked, though, or that were confirmed, they still need to confirm, like, you know, the clock frequency of the CPU and all that stuff. If you're into that
stuff, don't need. I mean, yeah, the CPU clock,
memory bandwidth, and all that. You know, so I mean, there's still things that are important to the specifications here that you guys.
That stuff will be crazy though. Like, that's like. They confirmed the biggest, most important thing, which we know the Zen stuff is 4 times faster than what we have now. They've already confirmed that. The GPU power overhead is really what's going to push. It's going to push pixels. It's going to push most all the graphics effects you see. But now, now you're not bottlenecked.
You know what they did, though? They confirmed to me from a non-technical standpoint, from a gamer who just likes to see pretty things and play smooth, fluid games. They proved to me, they answered my question that I kept asking you, dealer. Will they be able to have big open world games at 60 frames? Yes, I believe they will.
Yes, yes. Hey, I wouldn't leave you astray there, Fonz. He's like sitting here, can I play this game like at this fidelity, just at 60 frames? I'm like, Fonz, all that and more.
Yeah, they confirmed that to me with the release of these specs. I mean, listening again, you know, listening to guys like you, listening to, you know, guys that just delve in PC world, you know, rave about what Microsoft is doing here with the Series X. It's amazing to me that we're going to get games at such high fidelity and smooth, you know, 60 frames and up.
You're getting a very, very high-end PC experience here.
It's crazy.
Hey,
Like,
Elemental
you know,
PO, real
and I
quick.
think this
Go
is
ahead, and I'm going to read Elemental PO's super chat.
If they tell me I can render my videos on the Xbox Series X, I'll throw my
I'm guessing that this is going to be like I think it's going to be about $550 personally. I think it's going to come in at 550.
I would say 5 and 3. Elemental PO says time for an intro theme song for RDX. Get Colt to sing, and then oh god, and then the ending with a loud shout from Tim Dog. Yeah, we can arrange that. You know,
wait, are you ready, Tim?
Oh god.
How many do we have? Guitar note. You got to do a scream. Here we go.
He has a guitar on deck.
Hey,
have to hit 1600.
shout out to Tryhard Fan, Game Bread. We've also got Liam Lee, the Blue One. We've got a lot of people in the chat, guys. John Blue, of course. He's been around forever. Shout out to you, buddy. All of you guys. Hey, Tryhard the other day, he's like, I don't expect too much. I don't even expect RTX 2070 performance out of these things. Or maybe you said, I said 2070 at least, right? Just to kind of say, you know, at the very lowest. Now, I'm factoring in PS5 there because I still expect 2070 performance from PS5. As I talked about quite a while ago. That's still very capable. Don't get me wrong. It should be a $400 console. But when it comes down to it, man, like, I notice a lot of people saying, well, you know, we have a guy that covered the 11.3 teraflop leak, and, you know, he's pretty much right. It's like, no, you didn't come out and say, absolutely, this is the target. You talked about 11.3 teraflops and how it got downgraded. That's not the same thing. So, again, there's a reason I wasn't too worried about that. I do got to give a shout out to 1,200 people real quick, Zach. I'll throw it to you. 1,200 live already, guys. Hit that like button. Share it out for us if you can. We really appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel. And thanks for all your supports. Zalker, you've been around. You've been along for the ride, buddy. You saw what happened yesterday. You saw people's faces melt off. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah, it was. And, you know, to be honest, to go on like a more of a, you know, I don't want to talk about these idiots that just give a shit. Some people actually came in that are PlayStation fans and actually were like, hey, man, this thing seems pretty fucking cool. They're like, that's really awesome, like how cool it is. And they didn't say like, oh, they're like, I just can't wait to see what PS5 does. And I'm like, yeah, me too. Like all of us, we can't wait to see what they do too. And they're like, I don't know if they're going to match that, but I'm excited to see what the competition like between each other, the two companies are going to do. And you know, for someone to like say that's a PlayStation fan, I gotta hand it to Xbox, right? Like they're advertising this a lot differently than we expected. Like this console's being advertised beyond anything we've seen them do before. I always think back to when Sony left E3 like twice now, like 2 in a row. Like, oh, we're gonna find new inventive ways of showing our fans our stuff. Well, you know what?
They're guys still looking for
pay attention. No, they need to fucking pay attention to what Microsoft's doing then. Because everybody I know is like, even at work, random people are like, hey, you know that new Xbox? Do you know anything about it? I'm like,
what are these flops about? Well,
no, that's literally what they're asking.
Hopefully you don't buy a next-gen console for, you know, power. You know, and obviously the games are there. Hey, Dirt Greedy, by the way, says, appreciate all the positive content you guys have been doing for years. Thank you so much, sir. Do appreciate it. Talked to him while he was at work today in a party as he was rolling down a hill. We'll have him on here in the coming weeks. We'll have Dirt on the show. But again, man, Tim, you were a major player and a big key factor in locking this stuff down and the confidence behind, you know, I don't come out and just say the shit unless I'm like checking in with a lot of people and making sure and triple checking stuff and making sure 3 sources are telling me certain things. And you were definitely a big part of this. I want to hear more from you on everything you've seen happen over the past day.
Well, I mean, you just seen a lot of people really giving Microsoft props. They hit a number that people thought was fictional. Like, you know, when it all came out, it was like you said, it was a collaboration of sources, and it was work actually, like finding out from this person, from that person. But yeah, I mean, you know, even, you know, talking to some Microsoft people, they say that the response has been crazy, and that their team is really energized. I mean, the days of, you know, Microsoft getting clowned and made fun of, you know, they're looking like a distant past right now. I mean, the last 3 months, I would say Microsoft has really kind of got themselves to a position where they're respected and they're looked at at this point as a player. I mean,
people pick up that vibe that they got a lot of ammo in this clip right now.
You know what? I got to call out somebody. This whole thing about 12 T-flops yet no games BS.
Hey, we're going to cover that. That's actually its own topic.
No. Here's the fucked up thing about this. People keep running with this nonsense, this fanboy rhetoric. At the end of the day, you look at the first party, you've got 15 studios making games for Xbox. They will
Are they making games? I thought they were making shoes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, exactly.
Are you
but
sure?
Here's the thing. You just put first party aside even. Go ahead and just throw those first parties aside. These frauds that are saying this stuff are going to be the same people that are buying the Series X for what I'm going to be buying it for, which is the power. They're going to be buying it for their multiplats, which is what they play 95% of the time anyway during any given year.
I mean, I just Googled it. There were no games made for my 2080. Why did I buy that fucking thing?
It's the same reason why people went out and bought the One X when Red Dead Redemption 2 came out.
Most of them bought the One X. Some of them are saying the thing ain't got no games or exclusives. Went out and bought the One X for the power.
They went out and bought it for games like Red Dead Redemption 2. There was a sales spike then with the One X. When Red Dead Redemption 2 dropped, you had so many people coming out online saying, I started it on the Pro, but I ended up buying the X version. It's silly. It's silly to go through this stuff, people. You will buy it if it does have that power increase over the PS5. You will buy it for that 95% of the time.
If you don't care about Xbox, most of these guys don't even play on PC. Don't even worry about it. Like, I'd never harped about the Nintendo Switch. I finally bought one at Christmas. I don't use it a whole bunch, if at all. But I don't harp on something that I'm not going to play on.
Well, they only say these things because they are fanboys themselves, right?
Hey, guys, imagine when the next GTA is announced and it's coming to the Xbox Series X and we already know it's more powerful and it does better ray tracing, all this shit. All those gamers are going to want to play it on the Xbox Series X.
Well, here's the thing. Most of the guys that are the most vocal against Xbox own a One X in this community. That's how silly their bullshit is.
They're
like, why would you get a Series X? I mean, I can play the same game on my Xbox One, and then they sit down and turn on their Xbox One X. Hey, Ronnie Savage, he says with PS5 9 teraflops, I think it will still surpass Xbox Series X in sales. Yes, I think so too, and that's because it should be at a cheaper price point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if with this kind of performance delta, you were looking at $100 gap pretty easily, and it better sell better.
But then what happens when these third-party games come out that are huge blockbuster titles?
Then the people that want the best
could run better on the Xbox Series X. At that point in time, are you going to say, you know what, screw it, I'm going to spend the extra $100 so I can get
9 T-flops and Navi. Those nothing to. I've always said these consoles are going to be badass, both of them. But the Series X is on some next level fucking shit here. I don't think people understand this. It's if you want that experience, man, if you want a 2080 Ti experience, go buy a 2080 Ti, 2080, whatever. If you don't care, buy a 1060 or 1050 or some shit like that, right? Choices are not bad. It doesn't need to be exclusive to one box unless you're one of those fanboys and needs to vindicate your purchase. Then in that case, you better not ever play on PC. Because that bitch ain't got hardly anything exclusive.
I think these fanboys need to, kind of message Sony and be like, hey, from our logic, you're going to be holding back the Xbox Series X in gaming. You need to, make that more powerful for us so we can get the best possible games everywhere. Right? Like, that's their logic, right? It's all being held back by phones and fucking stupid.
It's held back by the iPhone 3G.
PC's holding back gaming sometimes too.
Yeah, everybody's just getting held back. It's great.
Hey, Downer, he says, please tell Tim not to breathe so hard. Jesus Christ. Tim, you know what? He's just fucking with you because I don't even hear your breathing.
No, I have it on.
Like if you were in the bush next to me stalking, like I wouldn't even notice.
Yeah, no, I have it on mute, so he just played himself. Good job, Jeremy.
Yeah, Jeremy, you little fucking troll, man.
You know what, Jeremy? Next time I see you, arm wrestling match, you and me.
Hey, I'm Ancient Gamer says, glad to see all you guys, Jez and Rand, being proven correct by Phil. Twitter has been on fire all day. Yes, sir. A lot of people giving props and saying, what they should say. Others, I don't need apologies from those guys. When I said that, I put LOL in it because I'm kidding. I don't really care what their opinions are on me because they don't watch any of this stuff anyway. So that's why there's a really big divide between opinions, like on this show. Even people that don't watch, listen to idiots who lie and don't watch. They have a really different opinion of the facts than people that are in the chat right now.
And what are these guys doing now? Where are their beloved insiders? Where is Klee? Where are all these guys that gave them different information that was proven wrong today? Yet they always come at this crew, but they're not asking those guys, hey, where are you guys? What are you guys doing? What was this that you said?
Yeah. I remember when they were saying it was going to be around 10 teraflops. Remember that?
Well, now it's back up to 13. Right, Tim?
Yeah. We're now at there's two.
It's down from 18 down to 13 now.
Yeah, now there's two consoles. They're doing the Lockhart. I'm not kidding you. That's the newest rumor.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but where would it come in at? Because the PS5 hits 500. I don't think Series X. I mean, you guys might say it can't possibly be lower than 6, but I think Phil knows that 500. Even this. I was talking to Coles about this yesterday. Like the PS3 had a $600 SKU. The console came in at $5 here in the States. The hard drive version was at $6. And all you ever heard about was, that thing is $600. That's the first thing people say. Phil knows that you can't do that. And if they do try to do that, then they know, okay, this is a very limited ultra premium type thing. But I really do think they are sticking to what they've got now, 5 and 3. And I mean, no way the PS5 can come in at 5. So where would their low end come in? Would it just be $100 less, Tim, for the Lockhart, or what?
They're saying that the base, it's just a completely made up thing. They're saying the base is the 9.2. But listen, here's the situation.
Okay.
Here's
Where's
the
that?
situation. If you're in Sony's position right now and you have a 13 teraflop machine and Microsoft showed their cards, I think that you probably would have seen a shot back.
Definitely.
Whether it be a comment or even something clever. Listen, Sony is very clever. So if they knew they had a teraflop advantage or they had an advantage, they would acknowledge it. The silence is definitely.
Hey, it's like people forget 2016, Tim. They're doing the same exact thing they did with the Pro.
Exactly. Yep. And in the 2013. The same thing. Xbox wasn't talking about teraflops. So Sony was the first to say that they said close to 2 teraflops in February.
They talked about what they knew they had advantages in. RAM included. They even went into detail. Hey, 8 gigs of GDDR5. This time they're talking about SSD only, meaning, hey, maybe that SSD is a little faster. I'll take that ridiculous power disparity any day.
If you look at history and you look at how companies act, Microsoft themselves included, the silent one is usually the one that doesn't hold the power advantage. So I think that just goes to show you where this is all going.
Javier, or Hector, sorry, I read the wrong one. Hector Mendez says, basically he's got, he says he has an RTX Titan that can eat the Series X in power. That'd be, I don't know, it'd be pretty damn close, honestly, in certain areas. I don't know. I wouldn't say eat. Eat means it's a fucking complete wash. It's like saying it eats a 2080 Ti. I wouldn't say that. It eats it in power, but when you add the rest of the parts, he is close to 10 grand. 500 to 600 is a great deal for the console. That is an absolute fact, sir. Even if you do got a rig that's still more powerful than this Xbox, like, you got to consider the fact that you are still vastly more experienced. Hey, we got Nano Poly. Nano Polymath's one of the nicest guys in the world, and he just sent us one of those fantastic new little GIF animations. Pretty interesting.
Hey, so
it's me.
Yeah, when it comes to what they released yesterday, though, one thing that I saw a lot of people running online with was the whole free upgrade thing from the from what you got currently, in games to the next generation. And people were saying that, we got free upgrades anyway. When we got to the, mid-generation refresh consoles, we got free upgrades. That's totally different because we've had a lot of games coming from last generation that came over that had to be rebought this generation. Games like Grand Theft Auto, games like, there were so many PlayStation games that came out last generation that you had to buy a remake for
$10
on the PlayStation 4.
Yeah, but this is the first time you're going from x86 to x86.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, but what I'm saying is this is a different scenario, whereas it's a generational leap rather than just mid-gen refresh, mid-gen upgrades. These are totally different games going forward. And what Microsoft is saying here is, look, if you buy a game today on Xbox One, it'll work on Xbox Series X with the upgrades and everything when you get it. So I mean, it's a different.
Well, that depends on the developer, right? Like
of
that's why
course,
CD
but
Projekt
no,
Red.
but with the first party games, it's a guarantee.
Yeah.
So
yeah, well, yeah, the first party game. Yeah, okay, yeah, just you never know.
Yeah.
Somebody's in a
but
clip
yeah,
anyway.
but like that's why when CD Projekt Red made that announcement and said, "Hey, our game will come with a patch for the X Series X free of charge," people were like, "Well, they're always free, these upgrades."
Well,
Nah,
I already told you there's a mandate. Developers can't charge you if they wanted to. They're doing the exact same thing as they did with the X. I mean, I hear what you're saying and I get the logic, but there is a mandate. Developers cannot charge you for a patch. You're going to buy an Xbox game from now on. They'll probably just come out with new cases that say Xbox at the top, and it will just work on every fucking Xbox, even though it's because
that's true. But the reason why they got around it before, like PlayStation was doing, like Grand Theft Auto, like Rockstar, they were making these remakes for the new generation consoles.
They had to.
This generation. Okay.
They had to, I mean,
that's how they resold it, repackaged it. Well, next generation, you ain't going to need to do that.
Yeah.
Well,
like
it
was Power
kinda...
PC and cell architecture. I mean, they had to rebuild the game from the ground up to even work. So,
well, the thing is that's something that I think Xbox has exclusive, right? Is like you don't have to buy 360 games, right? They have how many in backwards compat? A lot of the popular ones, so we're all good there. Sony is not going to have that with a PS3. That's something that is kind of sucks, and I think that's what CD Projekt Red was kind of talking about. Like, you shouldn't have to buy another game. Like, that's like they're so fucking awesome to even say that and come out and say that. I don't know, man. It's really cool. Like, and it timed it right perfectly with the Xbox reveal, like the stuff on Monday. Like, you could tell like it was timed with them, and they worked on it together. And it's something that again, third party relationships, Xbox, like people don't understand. Like, this is different. This is a lot different. Xbox guys, they're cultivating a lot of good relationships with developers and everybody with this new console. It's gonna be fucking crazy.
Yeah, and you're telling me, dealer, that some of these companies wouldn't try and double dip next generation and remake the same game over again?
I just told you they can't.
No. A patch they can't. But I guarantee you they can slap a remake on there and sell it for next generation.
If they want to try and do that, like if they want to try, I mean, for one, it'd be really hard to justify a remake of all current generation stuff like that. But if they wanted, I mean, basically, you just be getting the PC settings at Ultra.
I can see this from EA and Activision all day, brother.
Nah, you ain't gonna see it.
Well, I mean, EA's not doing a lot of
if they remake
anyway.
some shit, it'll be like they did with like Call of Duty 4. Like, okay, we updated it. The game is just old as fuck. But I mean, I'm just saying, anything's going to leverage Series X, like through a patch, like most of these games will. They're not allowed to charge for those.
Just look out for those remakes next gen.
Yeah,
Watch.
I'd be surprised. Hey, Ashtray
the
says
remakes...
going forward, December 9th shall be called Dealer Gaming Day. Thank you very much. Element of PO. He says, Fonz has a point. You buy an Xbox game, it's still compatible on the Series X. Yes, sir. Devs just had to add the patch to make them sing on the Series X. Go ahead, Colt.
Yeah, I was going to say the remasters and ports of almost the entire generation for PS4 and Xbox One was born of no backward compatibility solution. Strangely, that when backward compatibility came to Xbox at the end of 2015, Sony was kind of the reason why remasters and ports persisted. But now the developers, like Fonz is saying, like I can see him trying some shady stuff. The developers have to change their mindset to quit thinking about consoles as a stopgap, because now there's so much like PC. They're going to be fully compatible with like what we play now and what comes in the future. But like the old 360 and PS3 and PS2 era stuff is still dicey. Like I don't even know what the heck Sony's going to do if they want to offer backward compatibility earlier than 2013.
Hey, we got Dipsy Do. He says D released Sony's plans to make the PS5 18 T-flops at RDNA 1 compared to Xbox Series X RDNA 2 12. Yeah, that would be again, man. For some reason, they're quoting somebody called Clee. I don't know, or Tommy, or who is it? Tommy Fisher. He had mentioned 12 teraflops. Like I had talked about 12 teraflops 2 years ago in a video. I mean, I could pull the shit up. So again, just because you're mentioning some shit don't mean that you leaked it. For one, it's just not the same damn thing. So again, that stuff's been around. It's just trying to nail it down. That's the hard part. Snake Eyes, thanks for coming to the channel, everybody. I can't keep up with the fucking super chat. Anyway, I want to get into a little bit more detail with some of the Series X stuff in case you guys might have missed it. Get some input and some opinions on that stuff. But yeah, 12 T-flops, Navi RDNA2 architecture confirmed. That is a ridiculous amount of power. 2080 super, 2080 and low. That's the worst case scenario. Just a 2080. Oh, fuck. So you're getting a ridiculous, stupid amount of power and more than that. So that's on top of an SSD and all this other shit that's going to make it crazy fast. They confirmed hardware accelerated ray tracing, again, using Microsoft's DXR, of course. So you've got that dedicated hardware in there for ray tracing. That is quite literally the efficiency method. And then you've got on top of that variable rate shading, which I described is basically like a checkerboarding, but for graphics, where they can focus that pixel rendering on things that you can pay attention to, or certain effects or certain characters. That's checkerboarding for graphics isn't like accurate unless you really think about it in that specific way, but that's the best way I can explain it. It really focuses rendering load on certain things depending on what developers want in certain times. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's a good way that I can kind of describe it. And then you've also got they confirmed ray traced audio, of course. That's something Sony came out touting. I really think Sony have some kind of RT disadvantage or something. There's no way Mark Cerny just forgot to confirm that the first time. So there's a reason that he worded it how he did, and I think there's a reason that he came out and said it later. We're also told that the Series X has better ray tracing. But beyond that, they also confirmed 4 generations of games. So everything will come. You get all the automatic improvement benefits of SSDs, performance. Apparently, you're going to get even more performance or even better resolution on games inherently, or maybe they're just talking about maxing out dynamic resolution games as well. So who knows? It could be both. So yeah, it's like the Xbox One X, what it does for games automatically, but magnified, as I explained in the video. And then what else did they confirm?
They talked about the being able to pause multiple games.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I'm excited for that. Because there's times where I'm playing a game and I can't save it right then. Mm-hmm. And let's say you jump on and say, hey, jump on with me in this game or whatever. I can just pause that game, go to the next.
No booting games up anymore. Even though your boot times will be ridiculously quick, I'm guessing it'll just suspend them in the SSD. Because they're using that. Usually, today it works by suspending the game in the system RAM. So because they are using the actual SSD as a virtual memory pool, they're going to actually start using the SSD to suspend, I don't know how many, 5 games or so in system memory? How many games do you think it might be, Colt?
I'm thinking
3, 2. I mean, I don't even know how they're doing more than
multiple.
one.
They said multiple.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 was my guess, but I mean, it's kind of perplexing.
That's awesome. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I'll only need to do that with one game. Like if I'm playing
Forza
Horizon and I'm in the middle of a race, and you guys say, hey, we're going to play, Zombie Army. I'll just pause that and play that game and then move back.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
The one thing that has me the most excited, honestly, is the variable rate shading. That is such a game changer.
Hey, can you explain that? What is that?
Okay, so
that's
variable rate shading,
like checkerboarding for graphics, as you said.
So basically, what they do is parts that are like moving fast or that are off the edge of the screen, or say it's behind something, they don't have to render it, or they don't have to render it as.
Do you remember talking with me about this years ago? Like we were talking about this fucking in 2015. Yeah. We were talking about, I called it intelligent rendering back then. We were just talking about how basically AMD GPUs would hit the point where they wouldn't have to render things that weren't on screen, or they would focus detail here or there.
Yeah, and that's what VRS basically is. So whatever is directly in front of you that you're focused on will have, all the detail, the most detail. Something that's far off, like in the fucking wilderness, it doesn't need to be detailed because you're not looking at it. It's not visible.
Essentially, it uses less power. So
right. So
it frees up GPU resources. Yeah.
It was even in Shadow Warrior 2 in 2016, I think, when Dealer's saying he was talking about it. Like they were Shadow Warrior 2 was using the outside edge of the frame, like the perimeter, and leaving the very center 50% of the screen at full resolution,
Well, this
and
is
lowering
different.
the resolution on
This
the
is
outside.
different. That's a resolution scale. This is like,
Yeah.
they said that they can literally reduce the amount of pixel scale or pixel quality, whatever, on even certain aspects of characters or certain effects in a game, like an explosion. They can choose where to put the graphics power specifically. It's kind of like HDR for graphics rendering, where how you can choose, have those highlights. You got the bright highlight here, the bright highlight there. They can choose where to put those highlights and graphics fidelity and leave this other stuff, GPU cycles freed up there. So that's not the best example.
And you won't be able to see the difference. There'll be no perceivable difference because you're not looking at that shit. You're not looking at the garbage can that's behind a tree that's not even in the fucking shot. When you move position and it starts to be rendered, then of course it's going to come in. But if it's not something that's directly there, it's not going to precisely do it because it's so obscure, right? And it frees up so much GPU resources, and that's how they're going to get the high frame rates. And that's
even without that, they're smashing frame rates. Like that's the cool shit. Is you're getting all this power plus all these smart, intelligent rendering techniques as well.
And that's built into the Turing architecture with NVIDIA on the RTX 2080 Ti, and that's another reason why some of their games perform so well. This is going to be so good for fucking consoles, and that these guys eke out every last bit of performance, and this is going to help them even more.
Hey, Underachiever has a good point. Let me read Underachiever super chat real quick. He says, I just hope people understand the difference with price and performance. It's so silly to compare a $2,500 PC to a $500 console. It's like comparing the Cobra GT500 against a Ferrari. It's just not a good idea. It's all about balance. Although that GT500, the new one, is fast as fuck. Anyway, it's besides the point.
Yeah, I was just going to say that it scrolled by too fast. There's so many people chatting. It's great. But I read a comment somewhere. Someone said something about how it's not going to be able to suspend multiple games when they straight up said they confirmed that you will be able to suspend.
I need a source.
Multiple games.
I don't know. It's not hard to look into the basic subject matter for you make a claim like that.
People, wake up. Use your eyeballs.
With 30
I know
away
we're talking
from
about
1600.
What'd you say, Tim?
With 30 away from 1600.
Oh, man. Hey, everybody watch this live. Hit that like button. Share it out. Help us out a little bit. We appreciate it, guys. You make this most powerful podcast around. The biggest Xbox podcast on YouTube. We do thank you very much.
I
thank
got a question for you.
Yes.
So the thing they, like, from everything we've talked about with the console, a lot of things they talk about, they always bring up 120 frames. Like, what games do you see being that?
Doom.
Like, just the small ones?
Doom,
or like,
Doom Eternal, for instance, I think will have that.
Some of the bigger ones, right? Like Doom Eternal.
I mean, Zalker, this is a fuck ton of power, man. Like,
I know,
they don't have to do this in 4K
I keep
either.
seeing the 120 shit, and I'm like,
dude, we've heard far less PC builds. People claiming they're getting 144 hertz at ultra at 1440p.
Yeah, I'm on a 1060 and I'm doing 200 frames at 4K.
Yeah.
So what do you think a big like let's say they bring out the next Assassin's Creed, right? Like open world, huge game. Can that hit that?
No, at 1080p, yeah, I do think it could.
Yeah, 1080p, maybe even 1440p.
I'm not saying, that's what I'm saying. You don't have to be limited to 4K here at 120 frames. You can.
I think
you also have to remember how weak this CPU is in the Xbox One X, and it's doing like 70 to 80% of 4K at 60 frames on the Xbox One X.
I think Dealer hit it on the head. Dealer, when he used Doom, for instance, I mean, it runs 60 frames pretty damn well on the X. So I mean, I could totally see 120 frames on
CPU will not be a limitation anymore.
No.
Yeah.
Basically,
that's what I'm talking about.
I don't even see any bottlenecks in what they're building, to be honest with you. It seems pretty fucking balanced.
Well, I've always said they'll be the most balanced systems of all time by far.
Phil just said that yesterday.
Yeah. So,
and it's something that they've been touting for a while, saying that, like, even Phil said that this generation, the CPU and GPU balance was out of whack.
I don't know about you guys, but fuck these consoles. I'm going Soldier Boy console.
Soldier Boy console for life.
Yep.
I made 20 mil, bitch.
that's what I'm doing. Hey, we've also got Wolf JRA. He says, for the cast, he's basically saying, would you rather buy a game that sells 6 million copies single player, or a game that sells half but has 2.5 million active users? I mean, what? I guess he's saying, I mean, if you're going single player versus multiplayer and kind of doing a Sony versus Microsoft type thing, I wouldn't say that's a good idea because, I mean, games like God of War, even though they sold way past 6 million, I would take that game all fucking day. Also glad to catch a live RDX. Thank you very much, sir. I mean, hey, that's the thing, though. If you continue to ask for better software like we have for years before this whole negative flip-flopping trend started, we were fucking asking for more games. We ain't had shit since Gears 4. What the fuck? You know, we want better games, but we're not going to sit and harp on it every week because we know what the fuck's boring. We know what gets old, right? And that's just, we're into gaming for positivity for the most part, right? Call someone a fuckface every now and then. That's fine. But, you know, at the end of the day, we've always asked for better games, bigger games for Microsoft. And we're getting a ton of games. I've already said it on Twitter. I'm not hyped for a lot of what's announced now. The E3 is important for them. So I want to hear about Fable. I want to hear about some of this bigger stuff that their bigger teams are working on. That's me. That doesn't have to be you. But I'll take both. That's the benefit of asking for better. I want those single-player experiences. Microsoft generally provide those with their multiplayer games, too. Halo, Gears, all of them got multiplayer. So you don't have to compromise. Ask for both. Get both, hopefully.
Yeah, or go out and buy a PS5 for those single player experiences.
I'm getting
like
both anyway. I mean, but yeah, I mean, I prefer Xbox all day
anyways.
long, right? So
yeah.
And then there's third party single. There's just people.
There's so many damn games. Like
There's so many.
Here, let me read some of this shit off. Actually, some of the dumb shit motherfuckers are saying online. Stupid fucks.
Read it.
Let me. First off, D-Batch, who's taking the L's after this announcement? The 12 teraflops. There's so many.
All the detractors, all those fake insiders on Reset Era, all those fucking fake insiders on Neo.
Anybody who said Xbox Series X was 11.3 teraflops, you're a fraud. Anybody who said anything other than what this show has said, 12 exactly. I know for a fact, 12 exactly. If you didn't say that and you said something else, you're a fraud. Who else, D? Who else, Colt?
Damn,
everybody.
All right.
Yeah,
he said everybody.
Oh, wait.
Reddit.
Porter Rock gets one for the 12 teraflops.
Porter Rock?
Porter Rock, he said, I remember his I don't know who this is, some guy on Twitter. His exact quote was that NVIDIA knows more than we know.
Oh, okay.
Because NVIDIA said that the RTX 2080 is more powerful than the Xbox.
Okay. So
X.
is it just another time that guy's been wrong? Okay. Nothing new there. Who else? I mean, there's too many.
My neighbor's dog said that Xbox.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely go put that dog inside. So yeah, I mean, there's been nothing but people acting like that they know shit better than other people because they don't actually watch anything or know what the fuck people say. And it turns out that Microsoft pulled through on this one. I'm very happy about that. I want games and performance, and of course, expect a higher price point for that as well. But there's also people saying some pretty interesting things. And we'll come back to some next generation kind of game stuff. But for the Xbox Series X, you see people saying, all that power and no games. Zalker, I don't know about you, but I'm thinking about saying, fuck all the third parties. And I'm just going to ignore the fact that there's 15 first party studios. How about you?
Yeah, people are fucking stupid.
Assassin's Creed Ragnarok, get the fuck out of here. Batman, get the fuck out of here. Doom, get the fuck out of here. Cyberpunk, get the fuck out of here.
We don't need to play any of these fucking games unless it's first party.
Marvel's Avengers, get the fuck out of here. Call of Duty, nope. Battlefield, nope. I ain't playing none of these shits no more.
No more, man. I'm playing no games but first party.
I'm done with it. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
I'm done with these fucking. I don't. These people are saying that Xbox has no games. You're fucking just delusional.
I mean, we get it. Oh God, what the hell is that? Oh my God, Tim. Hey, Tim, you are clipping your ass off. Hey,
and I like it.
Yeah, a little bit. Hey, yeah,
we got it.
We'll give a shout out to 1,600 people live, guys. Thank you so much for doing what you do. Again, hit that like button if you haven't. Let's try to crush 1,000 after the fact, and we're already past 500. I don't know, fucking 700. Fuck it. So yeah, thank you guys for doing what you do. Again, all this power, no games chat. Let us know your favorite thing that you've heard being said about Series X. They're making excuses already. All this power, no games. All this power, no games. There are games, and we're getting more coming. We want better games. I made that clear, but we're not stupid enough to act like third parties don't matter.
They're fucking doing this because they're losing every fucking thing they've said. Like, oh, this doesn't matter. This doesn't matter. You ever see that gif where the person's like late to something and they run in the bathroom and just grab whatever they can? That's how these motherfuckers are running around right now. They're just grabbing anything they can. Like, you have no fucking game.
There's no
They're
game.
moving the goalposts left. And
Hey,
right.
here's another thing that's said about it. Not one game has been announced for the Xbox Series X. For one, you're stupid as fuck because there has been games announced for it. Halo has been announced for it, right? It was Everwild's been announced for. Like, Every game runs on it. That's the beauty of it, for one. And what game has been announced for my 2080? Tell me.
Wait, hold on a second. Even go further. What first-party exclusive has been announced for the PlayStation 5?
Just a third-party timed exclusive, as far as I know.
Godfall, which looks like a current generation, well, less than a current generation game.
Fuck all that. What event has been announced? Give me a fucking event. Give me something so I can know what the hell's happening.
I heard something today that like got a bunch of likes on social media. Somebody said, well, Xbox needs to prove that they can make good games because they've never made good games. And I'm like, hold on, pal. Like the Xbox has been out.
Friend.
Hold on here, partner.
Hold on, buddy.
Hold your spurs there, partner. Your cowboy. I said, Xbox has been around since 2001, hasn't it been? Like they've been around almost 20 years, and they've been putting out great first-party games every single time until what I consider 2017, 2018 was their lowest spot ever.
No, 2017 is when it started, yeah. But up until then, 2016 alone, they did have several fucking games like Gears 4. They even had Dead Rising 4, Recore. They had Forza 6. They had Quantum Break. They did have. I mean, like them or not. Sony has this list too.
2017, 2018, and now everybody has this mindset, and the masses will agree with them that Xbox has never had great first-party content, and they never will. And
the
it's
PlayStation. Sorry, not to cut you off, Cole, but this pisses me off as well. The PlayStation 4 did not launch with games; it launched on its power.
Yes,
people bought it for its fucking
That's
power
what all
and
the surveys said.
It had no games in the first year.
Let me interrupt back in there, D-Batch.
Don't call me buddy, guy.
The PlayStation and the Xbox have had incredible first-party games in the same frequency that we've seen for a while. Like, 2 really great exclusives every year on those consoles for a long time, right? It's about that frequency. Now, what the difference was, and Ryan McCaffrey pointed this out like a couple months ago, he said it took PlayStation Studios a long time to get to this point where they delivered Horizon Zero Dawn, Uncharted 4, God of War, and Spider-Man. Like, it took them a while. And look, they're banging on all cylinders. His words.
I mean, 2019 was a little bit of a.
2019 was a shit.
I mean,
show.
I like Days Gone more than most, but still, yeah.
Right, but I mean, Death Stranding was like a really high quality, like big game, but
high quality walking simulator. Yeah.
But I mean, look at this. This is what happened. His point, and I agree with him, is it took Sony a long time to get this incredible. Before they were doing great, just like Xbox was.
I mean, they haven't been incredible in a minute.
Time, at that very moment, Xbox fell lower than they've ever been for a year or two, and now they've totally turned it around. Like, look at how well they're touting. And I told somebody, I'll be honest. There's 15 studios, and 8 of those studios are tried and true, really high-rated studios that have a lot of talent that are going to make good games. Now, there are a couple that you may not go, well, I'm not sure. Like, maybe you're not sure about Undead Labs. Maybe you're not sure about what Compulsion is going to make. Maybe you're not sure if 343 is going to deliver. But, I mean, this fanboy mentality that, I mean, just imagine if you go back and say that Nintendo will never pick themselves up after what they did with the Wii U. It's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. Quit worrying about this stuff and like I
told you, most people saying that they're just fanboying,
It's not they're not worried, man. They're just fake worrying. They're just troll worrying. That's all they're doing. They're just troll worrying, trying to let's make
go ahead and we got to stop talking about just people like that. Again, I like bringing it up because it does introduce the social aspect to what people are saying about certain things. It keeps people kind of in the loop on what the latest exclusive and we got to bolt that damn goalpost down. I already said it. Game Bread, he says once Xbox gets the games moving, it'll go from all that power, no games to, well, the game's made by insert Sony studio name here. I mean, hey, who knows, man? I mean, I know Last of Us come out next month. I'm excited to play it, and I do know that game is going to be massive. I say that that one game alone is going to have more attention and hype than pretty much everything announced for Xbox right now, except for maybe Halo. And even then, that's close. So I want some bigger games, like more big games like Halo to really compete against that game and against Ghost of Tsushima and against Spider-Man and God of War. They've got, it's interesting. A lot will be revealed this year in terms of what Microsoft are doing with their bigger studios. I'll tell you that right now.
But you know what? We got to be honest with ourselves as well. It's like, these exclusive games are great. They're good for the consoles they're on, but at the end of the day,
they're coming to PC.
we're playing multiplats all the time. Like,
Yeah, what have Sony guys been
I've
playing since like Days Gone or Death Stranding? I mean,
Well,
for
what are
months
they
and months.
playing now? They're surely not playing Dreams. I mean, come on.
They're building games
actually,
and dreams.
Listen, at the
Yeah,
end
they
of
got to
the
build
day-
the game
At
first.
the end of the day, like you said, the majority of the games you play are multi-plat, third party. So to have a power advantage is definitely a big deal. There's no way
A
to
big
twist
power
it,
advantage.
you know, and it looks to be a big power advantage. But people just saying,
Why do you sound across the hall, Tim?
Get up on that mic.
Get on that
Jesus,
mic.
Zucker, stop sounding like his parents. Fuck face.
I'll say what I want.
Thanks, Dad.
But people who are saying,
Zucker, don't watch this gameplay. Spoiler. I know you haven't been this far.
You really
Fuck off.
can't. You really can't take it that serious because the bottom line is they have 15 studios. 5 of those studios are working on multiple projects. I'm telling you right now, you know, I think that you're going to see this year, throughout the next coming months, how much they have planned.
Is the stream low res or is that okay? That was me. I wouldn't even seen it at 60 frames. I think Batman Arkham Knight 5 years later looks better than most all. Look at the smoke on the coming off the Batmobile. This is an example of physics on PC. Very, very high fidelity shaders there, forming the illusion of that smoke you're seeing. That's crazy to me. Like, that kind of stuff is more impressive than anything I've seen this generation. And this game's 5 fucking years old. You know, like, that's the kind of stuff I want to see on console. But the game itself, I mean, you're only seeing a 1080p 10 meg upload, but if I uploaded this, I did upload part of this in a video, not my last one, the one before that, where I talk about PC and how these games have looked this fucking stupid ridiculous. If you watch that video in 4K forever now, and how that scaling has come through. And this game had a lot of problems at launch. It's a bad example, but most games don't.
You mean, wait a minute, hold up. You mean to tell me that Batman game uploaded from the PC in 4K looked that good, and it was held back by the Xbox One?
No, it was held back by the iPhone 3G.
Damn.
And the Ouya. So I'm just saying, like, you know, people that pretend like games aren't gonna look crazy, man.
I thought games were gonna be held back.
I don't know, man. It was made and it ran on the 1.3 T flops and it still looks better than most all games almost today. You know, I don't know how that works.
You know what, that whole thing about how games are going to be held back by the Xbox One and stuff. It's funny because I've heard even PC guys crush that theory, say that, you know, it doesn't.
That's
work
because
like
they
that.
understand what I understand, which is PC scalability, APIs, all this shit. x86 architecture. It's one of the reasons that that's why these consoles came to x86, because they knew eventually you're going to want to carry all your shit forward. You're tired of starting over. It's antiquated. It's played out, right?
Yeah.
So who the fuck wants to do that?
And because of that, that's why we can get all these games, and they're gonna fucking scale beautifully. Like, how many times we gotta say it? A 1050 doesn't fucking hold back a 2080 Ti, and a 1050 is not gonna hold back the 3080 Ti that's gonna come out later this year. Like, this is ridiculous.
Hey, Tony Bryant says, since sales are a big deal, third-party games always have the highest sales. GTA 5 has been in the top 10. Oh my God, GTA 5 has been in the top 10 for 5,000 years. FIFA has been in the top 10 as well. All third-party games will be better. Yes, I mean, like I said, third parties matter. Arkham is one of my favorite franchises ever. The Batman games are phenomenal, and I'm gonna want to play that. If I could have played, this version of the game on the Xbox, I would have shit my pants. Like, this game looks so crazy. I mean, it's great, man. So if you can get that experience all the time with ray tracing, it's gonna be crazy. Especially Meat Puppet. He says, how long does the panel think we'll have to wait to get the full spec list for PS5? Oh, hell, they didn't even give us when Sony announced the specs of the Pro, they didn't even give us the damn specs of the Pro. They just said, about double the power of the PS4. That's basically what they said. They didn't give us anything.
They're just waiting for Xbox. Remember, they're waiting for Microsoft. So whenever Microsoft starts announcing more, they might say something, but who knows?
They're waiting for third place.
They're being
Microsoft
defensive. They're being defensive, guys.
Microsoft kind of forced their hand. When they announced the PlayStation 5, they're gonna have to announce the specifications, the T-flop count. If they don't, I don't know, man. The silence will say everything.
Nah, they won't announce it. I think they'll.
No, you know what I think they need to do? Honestly, I think they need to just show their games. Because honestly, what they can do with the PS5, despite it being,
it's still extremely
power wise, it's still going to be really capable, and we're going to see some great looking games, especially with the developers they have. I mean, just show the games.
I mean, it's the art direction a lot of their teams choose. Even Days Gone, a relatively small team, they were able to make a very good looking game. Granted 30 FPS. Gears was That's what I said about Gears. Like Gears is the most impressive game.
Wait a minute, dealer. I thought small teams couldn't make good.
I mean,
games.
Hellblade 1 is. I mean, that was made by 20 people, and it's still one of the best looking games ever made on PC. Especially.
Yeah, but Hellblade 2, I thought was just AA trash.
Oh no, it's Xbox now, so that's why.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate that the logic some of these people bring, and they basically just murder themselves half the time they talk. It's kind of weird.
Pretty much.
But yeah, I mean, we've heard it all about the Series X, all that power, no games, etc., all that good stuff.
But wait a second. In that blog post from Phil Spencer, he did address that. He said that at E3 that they're going to have a plethora of games to show.
Well, he said that last year too, and that didn't go well.
Yeah, but this year with the yeah.
We all had fucking. We all
got a fucking Bambi game. I don't want to hear your shit.
Bambi headbutt Xbox soap out of a vending machine, bitch.
I don't want to hear that.
I don't know. I'm just saying we were not happy with E3, and I like how some of these flip floppers today, they were the ones damage controlling that E3. I love it. Oh my god!
I do think though, with a console launch, though, I do think they'll show something more substantial this time, though.
Oh, it's because Sony backed out, and they're like, we don't need to necessarily rush out something for E3. Bill had mentioned that he changed up the E3 lineup like weeks before. And I think that played a role, and that's why he said, I'm more excited about the stuff we didn't show. I'm sure Hellblade is a small part of that, but you are looking at, you have to have something like Fable unveiled this year. It's time to show. And I think, because Phil said this is the year that we deliver on showing what we've basically been talking about. He said that last year. And then Sony backed out. He announces, hey, we did change some things around. I think they're definitely related. I think this year, and I'm not saying wait for E3. We didn't say that last year. Unlike some of these fucking idiots try to quote us the same. We didn't say it last year. We were not happy about it.
I think they're going to show a little bit more than people think. Phil in one of his things even said that he was playing a game at the Initiative. He's said that. He was playing at Battletoads.
Shut up, dealer.
I thought they were doing a AAA Banjo-Kazooie.
We do. It's all satire. We like to make fun of the guys that are constantly talking shit about Xbox because they live in plastic world. We just enjoy gaming. We prefer the ecosystem in the box. Like, well, Jesus.
But no, I think that we're going to see a little bit more than what we think. Everybody's talking about Everwild is years away, right? So is Hellblade. Hellblade's a little bit away, and they showed those off. Like, the Initiative is going to be 2 years old now. Like after when the C3 comes, and year 3 is around that. Year 3, 4 is when a game can come out. That's a couple of years away. Hey, I don't know, man. I think they're going to start showing some really cool shit.
Hey, AJ Harris using my tagline again. Games held back. # press X to be bored. So shout out to you, AJ. Thanks for the super chat, buddy. We also give a shout out to Noof. I think Noof is doing a show after RDX, so be sure to stop by and check out Noof Noogum.
But
what's that
my
fun?
god,
Press X to
there's
take
just
an
a
L.
lot of weird stuff going on in the chat, brother. I mean, this guy Alex Fitz said, "How much do you weigh, dealer? Or you grounded gamer? Because I heard MBG is jacked."
Oh god, MBG. I mean, for one, I ain't worried about that. But
Dealer's jacked too, man.
Again, that's why I ain't worried about nobody ever getting a hold of my fucking identity. I ain't worried about it. At the end of the day, when it comes down to Xbox Series X, we've heard it all. We've been ahead of the curve with it. We have a lot of people that took our word for it. YouTubers and community members and you guys in the chat. Thank you guys for having our back. Some of you also were thinking similar things as well. We got a bunch of smart dudes that listen to the show. I'd like to think very informed. And when it comes down to it, thank you guys for having our backs on it, listening to us. And you know what? It's funny because some people look down on hardware speculation, but sorry, gotta say it, but I'm pretty fucking good with this. I'm not gonna lead you off to the right when there's a wood chipper over there. But hang on, bitch, turn this way. We're gonna go and try to be kind of accurate and kind of keep expectations in check, like we did with Xbox One X. Pretty fucking accurate there too. So we're not out of our realm here. Whereas some people don't like that stuff, but they'll feel free to go speculate on games. But because you got to have knowledge on hardware and they can't necessarily do it, they pretty much shun it. You know what I'm saying? So we do what we do.
I hope you guys know that we actually we do really appreciate that you actually trust us to even listen to us about this stuff. We respect every single one of you, and we don't want to put some fucking horse shit out there. And that's
Except for
that's
Zucker.
something that
You know, we did
take a
put
lot of
Zucker
pride
out
in.
there, and he did just lie to you a little bit, tiny
I did.
bit there,
I mean, don't shut up. Dude.
Hey, what do you guys think about CD Projekt basically saying, look, you shouldn't have to pay for a game twice? And again, Phil did mention that they're not letting developers charge for those types of things, but they are patching Cyberpunk 2077.
Why
Yeah,
didn't
for the
their
Series
tweet
X
say
when it's available?
next generation consoles? Why did they specifically say Xbox?
Partnership.
Well, I think there's more going on with CD Projekt Red behind the scenes, but I mean, at the end of the day, like,
Oh, do tell.
Not anymore.
Yeah, I mean,
that kind of voice.
No, I mean, I know that they have the market. They have the marketing rights for CD Projekt or for Cyberpunk. I always want to call it CD Projekt 2077. They have, like when I was doing my video, I almost said that. I know they have marketing rights, but it was kind of interesting. Like, had Sony said, "Don't mention us yet because we haven't talked about."
We're not sure if we want your game on our PS5.
We
I
only
doubt
have
it.
bangers on here.
It was planned. There's a reason
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk. There's a reason CD Projekt Red announced that right when the Series X specs were announced. It was a planned thing, a group effort. By the way, Geekhead, he says, how many games do you think? Of
course it was.
How many Xbox studios do you think will be at E3, Tim Dog? As he unmutes his mic.
Wait, what was the question?
How many? The most talented.
He's sitting there waiting for 1600 again. Come on, you motherfucker.
Hey, how many Xbox Game Studios games will be at E3? Do you think?
Oh, I think you're gonna get a lot.
Just don't put it in your name this year, Tim.
40.
Yeah, I'm not. I've heard some good things, but I'm gonna. I heard they're gonna go for broke. So
what do you mean go for broke?
You know what?
They're gonna go for broke.
They're going to sell the Series X for $100, guys. You heard it from Tim.
If I don't get a fucking
it's
Bambi
gonna be
Simulator
35.
2, I'm done
Yeah,
with you.
it's going to be 35 games like Bambi Simulator and then 5 AAA games.
So, Zucker, count them out. Everwild, Halo Infinite, Forza, maybe The Initiative, Playground Games.
No, I think you will see the initiatives because they said you'll hear more from them this year. That's got to be E3.
That's what I'm saying. You're going to
Maybe XO. You don't know.
I think you're going to see around 8 Xbox Game Studios games at either the reveal or E3 or both.
We're going to see CDPR back on their stage as well. I guarantee.
Yeah.
Hopefully Keanu's not there this year.
And there's been rumors of like other studios. There's been a lot of rumors of them even like looking at other studios to get like. This shit just never ends, man. I just like as an Xbox like fan, you're just kind of sitting like every week you like or every day you wake up, you're like, cool, this is happening now.
It's true, huh, Zucker? It is. There's like good news for Xbox, like weekly.
Hang on, you're offending people by saying good Xbox news.
Yeah, it's not good enough.
Yeah.
Monday caught the internet off guard, man.
Well, those fucking people shouldn't be on here watching it.
They caught the internet off guard like 3 times now with the reveal. Yesterday was like. Nobody was expecting.
Think they'll tweet this Thursday and say they bought Sony or what?
Even Keeley didn't know that fucking Xbox would be revealed.
They bought Sony.
I mean, they've been playing it really, really, really smart. So
they're playing
You know what? Right now, I just think that Microsoft is firing on all cylinders. They're doing the right things. They're saying the right things right now. They're actually doing great marketing, guys, for the first time in this generation.
Yes.
And I think it's wonderful
for next generation. That's why.
You know that
they have to, though. They have to do what they're doing right now.
I heard a report on their marketing that they actually got back the people that did the marketing for their 360. I heard that.
Well, thank God for that, right? Because that makes a lot of sense.
Phil actually talked about one that he wasn't a fan of one marketing showing the console or whatever at the awards, and he's like, one of our marketing leads, she did this and blah blah blah, and everybody's like, you better give she a fucking raise, like, because they didn't name her, but damn, bro.
I mean, I know her name.
That's her name, she.
But she was an Amazon employee, and they just had a bunch of Amazon hires, and she was one on the marketing side. And the story goes is that she actually stood up in front of everyone and said, "Everyone, shut the fuck up."
That's what she said.
She basically said, "Let's go for broke, and let's be aggressive here. This is our shot." And at first, Phil wasn't for it, and then after a little time, he actually,
It's not like the
went-
result
Well,
would have
she
been a
didn't
lot
just say-
different though. If they would have
Well,
held
yeah,
it 3-3, right? I mean,
Well, no, but she basically said to him, like, I was reading this, and Phil even confirmed it. She basically said, if we just keep doing the same thing, accept the same results, like we got to do
Exactly.
something different. And then she's the one that
that's
said,
why you got to cut out
we
the
have to do
carbs.
something. Well, that's what she said. You have to. She goes, we have to do something
Jeez.
bold, right? Like
Yes.
that's where
Soccer
Phil's
kid.
bringing
Who's
up
fat
the bold.
shaming me?
Huh?
I was a fly on the wall in that meeting.
She was
I was like,
she was a new hire though from Amazon. There's some talent.
Good.
From Amazon over from
Yeah, it's good to see
marketing.
this.
And it kind of bothers
So-
me that Phil has to be convinced to go bold like that. They've been needing to do that for a year or two, and I'm glad that he finally said, "All right." Because
Well,
I
I'm
used to
glad that-
say,
I'm
like
glad
on
that
this
he-
podcast, I wish I could be in that boardroom because I'd say, you know what, show something, do something.
You would
And-
just go in there and say, "Have games," and they would just appear.
Right. I'm
Yeah.
glad that he said, you know what, I'm not going to go with what I say. I'm going to go with what one of the other team members goes. And I just think that that's a good way to be. I don't think that if you're going to run whatever you're running, you have to be open-minded. And I think that was a good thing that he was open-minded about it. Now looking back, I'm sure she's already making her name. She already made her name, and I'm sure she's going to have a lot of say.
Now
Well,
she's on
it's
the
like this
throne.
with any good company, you do have your leaders and stuff, but there are people in positions that take charge of certain things like marketing. You need to let those people lead in marketing, and Phil shouldn't say anything about it. I mean, at this point, what they're
Yeah.
doing now is great. If it's not him that's leading this charge, then just sit back, Phil, let it happen, because it's doing wonders for your brand.
I agree.
Sounds like something Bill Cosby would say, but Shoguns.
Dealer.
He says,
Oh.
"Here's to the real deal. Here's to the real deal. Cheers. Thank you so much. Tears to my eyes." Again,
why you gotta
guys,
say it like that?
I don't know. I
Creepy
try to be as
weirdo.
creepy as possible. Adam Opatentry. He says Microsoft is throwing a lot of money behind the Xbox 2. Oh, you put a period there on accident, I guess. To the point that Sony might not be able to undersell either next gen. Seems Xbox really is basically, yeah, they're putting a lot of money behind this stuff. And they might. He's basically saying, look, they're all in. Like they never been. Like people used to say, they're trying to get out of gaming while they're simultaneously doubling their studios. Right? It makes no sense.
Yeah.
So they're investing more than ever. They are giving you hardware beyond the power of anyone's wildest dreams. Keep in mind that the X sold for $500 at launch. Right? From 2013 to 2017, that's 4 years. We got almost 5 times more power on the GPU alone. We got 4 more gigs of RAM, and all 12 of those gigs were upgraded to GDDR5, not DDR3. You also got a 4K Blu-ray in there and a complete redesign. All of that for the same price as the original Xbox, be it that there was a Kinect there, but still, same price as whatever came out in 2013. 5X jump plus those other benefits. Now, 3 years later, you're getting, technically, T-flop terms, you're getting twice, but this is well over twice with new efficiencies in Navi. So you were getting that plus SSD and potentially more RAM, newer RAM, and you're getting all that for what should be the same price, man. So, I mean, but that's the thing, though. For that kind of power jump and that kind of time span, they're competing with the high-end PC stuff this time, whereas in 2017, this was a good mid-range GPU, like a pretty damn good one.
Mhm.
They've taken another big leap here for hopefully what is really the same price as the X, man.
I have a sneaky suspicion that Microsoft helped with the R&D on this Navi card.
They
that's
did.
inside of the
They did. You saw
Xbox
Lisa
Series
Sue and Phil like looking at
Yeah.
each other like, yeah.
Which would mean that would benefit AMD on the PC side, obviously with Microsoft helping them on the API front, which would also mean that they would get, their chips at a good price because they paid some on the R&D.
And I'm sure Phil like mowed some lawns. I mean, he could have done a lot of stuff. How efficient do you think their ray tracing will be, given that their partnership's so close? They'll be using DXR, right, for AMD's ray tracing. I mean, what do you think the differences might be there? And do you think it'll be better or worse than NVIDIA's take?
I think it'll be better than Nvidia's take.
Really?
Well, at least this generation. We don't know what they're going to be doing with their 3080 cards, but it's going to be better than the RTX 2080 like 2080, 2080 Ti's, whatever. Their performance of ray tracing is going to be better on AMD's side because Microsoft obviously has something more invested in this with their Xbox Series X, and AMD is going to be smart, use that, that connection that they have with Microsoft on the API front so that they can produce better GPUs on the PC market to compete with NVIDIA. It's a win-win for everybody. And if it is really going down like this, Microsoft can be aggressive with the pricing on the Xbox Series X. I would say Sony's best case scenario is that the Xbox Series X is priced at $599. If the Xbox Series X, and I'm not going to sit here and predict the prices because I think it's going to land anywhere between $500 and $600. But if the Xbox Series X lands at $500, I don't know. That's going to be
Why do you
that's
think
going to put
Sony are
Sony
waiting,
in a
right?
difficult position for
Yeah,
sure.
Sony don't know where Xbox are going to land, and that's why they are trying to figure out how to cut, get the right production numbers. As the CFO said, it's very important we get the right production numbers in the first run to get the price down. Everything points to $399 for them. So, Adam, don't ruin my illusion of you. He says my last name isn't Irish. Adam Opatry.
No, I think that's. I think it's might be Czech. I believe.
Czech.
Opatrini.
Well, it's very hard to do.
We're all on the same planet Earth, so let Dealer do his cool accents.
Are we all
They're
thinking
not
that the
cool.
PlayStation 5 is still going to land at $399 though?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, go back to what Dealer said, half an hour ago. A $600 console is a black eye. It's not a good idea. So,
and Phil had talked about it when asked about it. He said it's not a price you hadn't seen in recent history.
Well,
Basically
I'll say
what he
this:
said.
if the Xbox Series X truly lands at $499, holy shit, it's gonna be like how could you with a gulf in performance? How could you get the PlayStation 5 unless it has like some killer exclusive at launch? I can't see a lot. I can't see myself. Well, I'm gonna get it, but I'm saying
Well,
the
I mean,
average
what won
consumer,
Black
if they have to
Friday though,
choose-
right? The all digital Xbox. It's all about price to a lot of people too.
Yeah, that's true.
Listen, even if it's $499, I spoke to many people on this, and the power delta, gap is there. Sony's going to be fine because Sony as a global brand is just so much bigger than Xbox is. But I do believe Sony, targeted a $399 price.
Tim, last week you said $500. Damn it! Make up your mind.
You're not even let me finish what I'm going to say.
Tim flip flop.
So
Tim
I
flip flop.
do believe that he targeted a $399 price, but I think what happened is they got a little. I think that they pushed for higher frequency on the speed for 2 gigahertz. So they're basically the bill of materials went up. So they are going to be I don't think that they're going to be priced at $399, but I think that this they originally wanted
$449.
But they're probably going to come in at $449, and that's why they're in their wait state. But even if they are $499, they're with Xbox. With this gap,
that gap is too fucking big for them to be the same price.
I think, I honestly, I think that's why they're in such a wait mode, looking to see what Microsoft's pitching. Now, if Microsoft
as always though, Tim, I will say, you could be right. Like, everyone has an opinion. Every one of you could be right. I could be very wrong to say that it could be $500. At first, when we first heard about these specs, I was like, all right, we have to quadruple confirm that he's measuring the power off of RDNA and not GCN. And when we locked that down, I'm like, how the fuck is that $500? So over time, we've come to really look into what makes things certain prices, competition, all that stuff on the PC side. Like, maybe they could launch Series X at $600. I know that it would still be more than worth it. But I would rather it be $500 for sure.
Mark it down. $550. Mark it.
It could be $550, $449. It's going to be very interesting where these prices land. I do think what threw.
I'll pay like 6 tacos in a grilled cheese.
Was last week.
I'll give you a pack of now later.
Crazy.
When we talked about the price of building a console, sometimes you get a little like last generation they got very lucky. And going by the Bloomberg report, if that's all true, they got kind of kind of screwed a little here. They got screwed on prices, and it looks like they went with a expensive cooling solution, and probably they went a little more on the SSD than Microsoft did.
Mhm.
And
sure.
here they are. They're close to Microsoft price point, which I don't think that they wanted, but I don't think they were also going to take a $60 loss on each console.
No.
So
But if Series
they're in a
X
little
comes in
bit
at
of a
5,
position,
I think they'll take the L on the. I don't think it's as high as $50, honestly.
Oh man.
I think
Oh.
I think they would definitely take the loss on it, and I think they have the overhead to eat in to kind of absorb that more than
Yeah.
they've ever had. But I think that
you know,
I just want to point out again that everything we've heard leads up to that very high frequency, low CU count spec for the PS5 at around 2 gigahertz, at least maybe on the dev kit side, whatever it is, right? They haven't confirmed.
There's only so much you can do with 36 CUs.
Exactly. And we're skeptical of the 2 gigahertz. Maybe it comes in close, but if it isn't 2 gigahertz and it's, let's say it's 1900, that's lower than 9 teraflops.
Yeah.
So
it's like
again,
8.8.
they even talked about how their cooler is particularly expensive, meaning, hey, you've got to be running this thing at a high clock. The developers with the dev kit said the dev kits are loud as shit. That points to a very high heat output. So everything kind of leads to that low CU count, high heat thing. Then we hear about how they're doing their backwards compatibility through an actual hardware standpoint, not through software, meaning they actually have to have either 18 CUs, which we know they don't have that, 36, multiples of 18 basically, or like 54.
54.
And that's
54
still under
would
what
put
we
them-
know that the Series X has.
Right. Well, 54 would put them in a position where you're talking about a much more expensive console.
Yeah.
I think listen, everything with the GitHub and everything all seems to point to that direction. Anybody that's looking at it, not trying to, fanboy it or whatever, just looking at it, it definitely looks like it's the PS5. Digital Foundry, if you watch their videos, I say watch them again and listen to what they say. I even in their last video, they say that if the GitHub leaks are true, it's going to be 9.2, and it's pointing to that. So that's just where that number comes up. That's not just made up by anybody. That's because they had the documentation that was put on GitHub, and they didn't protect it, and basically that's how the information got out.
Well,
And by the way,
let's
the
ask you
same
about that.
Xbox specs basically leaked there, and
Yes, and they
I
were right.
sent that out, and
they were right. Yeah.
and I was told they were pretty
Well,
much
what
pretty
happened-
damn accurate.
Well, what happened to these supposed developers that had test kits that said, or dev kits that said that the PS5 was more powerful?
Most of that's coming from
it was a
people that
lie.
just knew a developer, quote unquote.
No,
But that was a lie anyways, because Phil
said that they
it was
had just
Phil
sent out
Darren or
dev kits.
Somebody said that they didn't even send out the dev kits yet, so that was proven to be
No,
a
It was-
I
it was
heard
a
the
complete
story
lie,
was-
just-
I think
no,
it was
I
the placeholder kit. Is what
What,
Right,
Tim?
so
What'd you hear?
I heard the story. The story goes that there was a dev kit that was in the hands of developers at E3 that was 13.8 T-flops, or it was a high number of T-flops. But the thing was,
GCN.
it was based on GCN technology, right?
Which comes out to right
that's-
around where the PS5 is.
Yeah, 9
right,
teraflops.
right, exactly. So they got their
Their numbers fucked.
their numbers crossed, and I've heard that from some posters on Reset Era that are good guys that actually know stuff.
Because keep in mind, like a lot of this
that's
whole
the story behind the scenes.
this efficiency gain in Navi this is new for AMD, right? This is a big leap per T-flop in terms of gaming performance. It's a more gaming focused architecture, whereas previously it's a little bit more of a jack of all trades, is how it's been described before. Now per T-flop you get far more pixels or far more frames, if you want to look at it that way. So a lot of these developers might have just been, hey, count up the CUs, blah blah, and they get the T-flops based off the frequency, and they just said, hey, it's 13 teraflops, it's fucking nuts. But now on Navi, it's not quite the same way.
Dealer, I hate to do this, but I got to further disappoint someone in the chat. Iron Face says that Xbox is disappointing. I'm sorry to disappoint you even more, but in case you haven't heard or learned in the past hour and a half, the show's been going. This is an Xbox-centric podcast, so you might get further disappointed, bud.
He's allowed to be disappointed. We've been disappointed at last E3. We all died live on air. So, I mean, Iron Face, it's okay to have an opinion.
Especially Rand.
But just remember that, you know, we're thank you for showing up, buddy. And if you get killed in the chat, man, we don't give out waivers or anything. So proceed
Rand
with
died
caution.
twice.
But either way, let's go ahead and move forward a little bit here. And again, we do have to give a shout out. And Tim, thanks for that explanation, because we had kind of heard similar things, right? There's basically placeholder kits out there on older architectures to give devs an idea of what kind of power they're working with, just an older architecture, right? There's different kinds of kits out there to just give people an idea what's coming. They're not necessarily even in the same architecture. So just keep that stuff in mind. Some of that stuff gets crossed. And at the end of the day, we will see. But right now, we are on a pretty good run. So we're going to go ahead and hold out and say what we're saying. And we're pretty confident about that. Sony backed out of PAX, by the way, and they do mention the coronavirus, which, you know, apparently is definitely a factor regarding several things. I know some people kind of say that's an excuse. I don't know about that. I mean, I figured maybe send a guy in a hazmat suit and wheel in one of those TVs from you know, the grade school and maybe show a Last of Us trailer, but I don't know. I don't. I'm not even kidding about it, because this is a serious thing, but. Yeah, they did pull out of PAX, and EA are also backing out of GDC. Man, D, if you notice this, like, it's been dark mode here for multiple publishers over the past year and a half, it seems like. Like, Warner Brothers died. They're gone.
Where's
Well,
Batman?
I think the third parties, they're really waiting I think they're going to showcase their stuff around E3, because it's going to be centered around the next generation. And, you know, you don't want to show that stuff out too early before people get their hands on those consoles and those new cards or whatever, right?
I mean, games are getting pushed back. The Avengers, Cyberpunk, like, they are planning everything around the launch of these new consoles because they want to piggyback off that hype like Cyberpunk did yesterday.
Yeah. And what a way for Cyberpunk to come in there and get some attention with a pro-consumer move. And I don't know why people are so surprised by that move anyways, because you know, obviously, you know, I play on PC. Like, I buy a game on PC, doesn't matter.
Imagine if developers charge you when you got a 2080 Ti coming up from like a 1060 and they're like, oh, that'll be 10, 20 extra bucks for those new settings. Yeah,
this is just the way it should be. And if anyone's going to be pissed about this, I don't think it should be gamers, for starters. I think maybe Sony might be annoyed by this, because I'm pretty sure maybe some games they wanted people to double dip on. I don't know everything they're going to do next generation, but anyways, nonetheless, this is the way it should be. Everybody canceling, it is kind of a serious issue, because a lot of companies are starting to cancel now. I understand you're not showing up at the show, to be honest, but you know what? We got the internet now. There's stuff that you can do online. There's press release that you can give out. I'm sure you could arrange for some demos to be put on the PlayStation Network to be downloaded or whatnot. You can get IGN to cover a new game release or one of these bigger outlets. So there's ways of doing it. So yes, it's probably a sincere concern with the coronavirus, them pulling people back. I don't blame them. People's lives are more important, but at the same time, you're still running a company, and there's other ways to get your information out there.
Yeah, Nintendo been backing out of everything forever. Fuck it.
Yeah. Exactly. When it comes down to, you're exactly right. I did a video on this as well, D. And in my video, I even talk about how, you know, this virus is serious, and I understand the health and well-being of your employees is most important. But again, day and age of the internet, we have live stream capability. They could definitely do an event for the fans, for gamers everywhere, and get people excited and hyped. You know,
they ain't done an event in 2 years,
and they haven't done. And that's the thing; they have not done anything. All they've done is essentially pull out of events. That's all they've done. And you know, and this goes back pre-coronavirus. I mean, they pulled out of events last year.
I mean, they haven't done an event in like 2 years, Floss.
No, all they've been doing is these Let's Plays, and let's face it, these Let's Plays are trash. You know, we want to see events from Sony. We want to hear from them. So, I mean, I get it, but you know,
I want to hear from Colt after you're done, man, because he died.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying, like, you know, because a lot of people sit there and say, well, why don't they just?
We're not watching one of your videos, Colt. Stop snorting.
Oh, sucker!
Wow. So a lot of people were saying, you know, well, why can't, you know, because I've heard this too, you know, Sony PlayStation has local headquarters here right next to GDC. They could have, you know, sent some local reps. But at the same time, what people have to understand is, and this is facts, at least 30% of showgoers, attendees are international travelers. And, you know, any one of them could carry the virus. So it's scary. It's a scary time. I get it.
Well,
someone just said, we get it. You don't like PlayStation. We all have PlayStations.
Man. Now you want to go to his feed on Twitter and watch him and read him just trash Xbox all day? Isn't that the funniest? You guys, you mentioned something that Sony didn't show up for 2 years in advance. You hate PlayStation. You go to their Twitter feed. Fuck Xbox. Xbox is trash. Like, shut the fuck up.
I'm buying the PS5 day one in November, and I would actually like to know what it looks like and what it's going to have. So,
yeah, I'd like to know.
Well,
what
most likely, and I got this off an insider on Reset Era, it will most likely have a controller in the box.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm. No problem. Come back to me when that happens.
Got no controllers.
Come back to me when that happens, bitch.
I said it first here, confirmed.
I don't know, man. I just, by the way, if you didn't check out my Forza 8 video, Turn 10 are having a panel on ray tracing there. That's why you should just watch that if you haven't. I put a lot of time in that video. So yeah, they did confirm that they're talking about ray tracing at GDC as well. And they're doing that to better educate other developers on how to leverage the Series X ray tracing. That's really the benefit of it, to teach people how to better work on the Series X, I would imagine. Okay, you guys.
So if I was Naughty Dog and Neil Druckmann, I would have a really nice The Last of Us video ready to stream live during when they were going to be at PAX. But I haven't heard anything yet.
I think they're going to.
Neil Druckmann actually tweeted out kind of like a smart aleck post and said, what day is it, or something like that. And everyone's like, yeah, we would love to see it at PAX. I don't know if that's what he's referring to.
I don't think they really need to. Like, there's certain games, right? Like Halo, Last of Us. I don't really think you need to advertise it too much. Like, show a little bit when it's coming closer to launch, but I don't know, man. I just want to see like the future of like what PlayStation's doing. Like, I just want to see their console. I want to see like just something. Like, give us something. Like Godfall or whatever the fuck that game was called. That ain't it, Chief.
I'm gonna give you some physics-powered tire smoke.
Dude, these tire smoke, you've been burning out this whole goddamn gameplay, bro. Like, it's all I see, just smoke everywhere.
It looks so cool. I wish you guys could see it
look
in
at this
full
smoke.
fidelity.
Look at me smoke things.
It's so cool, Fonz. Look, it's the best exclusive for PC.
Drugs are bad, okay?
This PhysX is the best PC exclusive there is.
Yeah,
in my opinion. Well,
check out
StarCraft's
the
pretty good. I
smoke.
like StarCraft too. But,
there you go.
Yeah,
genital jousting.
All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and move forward with our topics. And there's a new Xbox update. I got a dashboard update today, and that damn thing's quite a bit faster. Have you guys noticed that yet? Anybody in the chat? Huh? Who else is psyched for not a laggy dashboard? It's been a while.
I'm waiting for a video by someone in particular. Then I'll know about it.
Is the dashboard out for the general public?
I got it, yeah. I left the preview program because my damn nothing would work on my box. I said, this ain't right.
Yeah, I had to ask because
for what? Nothing?
My son's Xbox, his base Xbox, actually got the update, but my ex didn't. So it's just weird.
They must have found out you said Xbox had no games. That's what happened. I mean, I just got it today, and I hadn't had time to get online and really mess with it a whole lot. But I did want to let you guys know that you might want to check your system settings and see if you got an update, because it does move some things around, but it is noticeably faster. The games tab, I got like almost 700 games. They all pop in really quick now. Everything's pretty quick on it. Resident Evil 3 impressions. There's a lot of gameplay released today, guys. I am looking forward to Resident Evil 3. We do have some more stuff on PS5.
When does that come out?
Hey guys, I'm over here muting myself, coughing up a lung. I gotta get out of here. I can't sit here.
Is that why it sounds like somebody's like jumping on a table?
I'm trying, bro, but you hear me talk, and I may come across okay, but I'm dying over here on mute. So
yeah,
I gotta go. The chat has been amazing. Thank you guys for showing up, and you guys, of course, my brothers. I love you guys.
Yeah, man, feel better, man. Later. Drink some candle wax or something, man. I hear it's good. Yeah, feel better, Fonz. And again,
drink out of one of those Glade plugins.
I'm sure Tim can drip the candle wax on you.
Okay, well, again,
give a fuck.
Tell me one of y'all motherfuckers watched this Resident Evil stuff. Resident Evil 3.
I
Yeah,
did.
saw some.
Okay.
I did because you told me to play Resident Evil 2, and I was like, I don't want to.
You remember when you screamed like a bitch when your corpse fell out of a locker?
That was Rand that fell out of the locker. I don't want to hear it.
Okay, well.
No, that game was fun as fuck, man.
I mean, Nemesis looks like a real asshole now, jumping around the screen like a crackhead.
Oh, dude. Fucking Mr. Oh god, it looks so good.
It
I
does.
was like, I don't know about this one. I was like, I might play this, but I'm gonna be shitting myself.
It's like, hang on, motherfucker. Mr. X was a stalker, but now this dude's got a Gatling gun and a flamethrower. This ain't
now
really
he jumps
fair.
out in his little trench coat. Hey, bitch! It's like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
What do I do with that?
Yeah, he's an interesting fella. I just want to bring that up real quick. If you guys didn't keep up with it, Resident Evil 3 comes out in like March, April, somewhere around there.
Oh, it's this year?
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Okay, well,
Goddamn,
welcome to
March or
Gaming
April looks
Stalker.
pretty good.
Don't
Don't make me fucking kick you in the nuts.
Okay, well, that's you guys hear that? Somebody clip that. So basically, just be on the lookout. There's some gameplay up there. You know, it's gonna look really good on the X. Resident Evil 2 looked pretty damn good. Xbox has become the most consumer-friendly brand out of the big three, according to Common Sense, as well as theescapist.com, Tim Dog. I'm tired of this muted Tim Dog.
Yeah, no, I will say that.
I don't like
this
Tim
is
Dog
kind
muted.
of easy. I don't like Tim Dog muted either, but he might be talking, but across the hall, and we just not catching it. No, I think that they are the most consumer friendly. I know that CD Projekt Red is one of the most consumer friendly developers out there. People fucking love them.
What's this got to do with Xbox?
Well, because they coincided with Xbox on that announcement about what you don't buy a game twice and all this stuff. Like, I think that's what spurred a lot of this like article shit. That, like, I think that'll extend to Sony too. But I mean, in general, maybe that did help a little. Like, look, you shouldn't have to buy a game twice, and maybe Xbox decided like, hey, we can put that out there, and that'll put pressure on Sony or something. But when it comes down to it, like everything else they've done in terms of Play Anywhere, in terms of like the way that you got backwards compatibility and all the different things they're doing, Game Pass,
and have been doing, even Game Pass, pro consumer as hell. There's rival link services out there, as we put it out a couple weeks ago, but still, like. The initiatives they put out there for that kind of stuff. Now we were one of the first motherfuckers talking about this damn free to play paywall, and since then it became a big thing like soon after, and people act like we never talked. Of course we talked about it. We had said forever that paywall needs to go away. It doesn't matter if it doesn't affect you, it doesn't affect me, but all of their competition doesn't do this. They shouldn't be doing it either. So, I mean, Tim, is your mic unmuted? I'm just going to say.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
They are the most pro-consumer brand out of the big three, Tim, according to theescapist.com. I mean, it's good to see them getting a little bit of credit here.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've been pretty pro-consumer for a long time, so it's just a matter of time. I mean, you look at everything they do from Game Pass to even Play Anywhere. That's super pro-consumerism.
Yeah,
that they're leading the way in that with them. So I do agree though. The paywall is stupid. They should just lose it. And maybe they do that to start the generation. I think that there might be some stuff that they do tweak.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, shout out to you, 9 Lives. D-Batch.
What's up?
I fucking hate you guys.
Yeah, it's time. No, it's time. It's time for that. It's time for that paywall to go. It's been time. With Game Pass, with all the different things that they got going on right now, I don't think they need to trap people in with a paywall. People will pay for the services they want anyways, and most people that are invested in the Xbox ecosystem, I'd say a good 40% of them. Well, I would say at least 75% of them have Xbox Live anyways, and most of them have Xbox Game Pass now. That 30% that's not invested in the system, I don't think they should be punished by that. They have the console still, allow them to play those free-to-play games.
And the competition doesn't do this shit. And yeah, like, they'd be losing a little bit of money because some people would unsubscribe from Live. But I mean, think of it, some things just don't make sense. There's like continuity errors here in reality on Xbox. Well, so to use like Party Chat, I have to have Xbox Live, but I can just unsubscribe from Xbox Live and use the Skype app to talk to somebody for free. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's certain things that just don't make sense. So there should not be a paywall to play free-to-play games. I don't believe in that. Their competition doesn't do it. We talked about this forever ago. They would also make up at least a little bit of money, because if they allow people to play online for without free-to-play games online, like Sony does and everyone else does, without a paid subscription, you would make a little bit of that back through those people's microtransactions, because free-to-play games are pretty much powered by that. So Microsoft get a
good
small
point.
cut on all the microtransactions that happen on Xbox Live. So does Sony. So that might have been why Sony even enabled it to begin with. They saw that.
and
Man,
I was just gonna say, I think that, you know, honestly, we got to give like, hey, thanks Sony. Like honestly, because a lot of this pro consumer shit's happening because of competition. Like, don't get it twisted. A lot of companies do a lot of this shit because of the competition. So all this stuff
Like
that we're talking
Games
about, the
with Gold,
most
yeah.
pro, all the thing about like the most pro consumer stuff, cool, keep it going, because then Sony's gonna start doing some shit, and then Xbox is gonna retire. Like, it's just the way it is, people. Like, we want this shit to happen, so it's better for us gamers. That's all that
Like
matters.
day and date PlayStation Now, Zaka, you think that Sony's going to have to decide to just start offering that besides, you know, waiting and doing a 3-month deal? Like,
I hope they do, and I hope they don't take them out after like a week, like right, like God of War, like, oh, it's in there till this time, then this time.
yeah, they
Like,
ran it
just
for
leave
3
your
months.
leave your
Yeah.
first party games in there. Fuck, like just leave it in there. Like, who
they
cares?
will. They'll come back, and then they'll come to
I hope
PC.
so.
I think they're testing the waters. Like, Zaka, you did a video about this like 3 months ago that Jim Ryan is he's kind of cluing Sony, you know, hardcore fans in on what they're going to do.
Yep.
And he's trying to ready them for, you know, because a lot of us, especially console fans, like, we have a set idea of what exclusive means. We have a set idea of how consoles should be and how the ecosystem should work. And it's not necessarily the right way, but bless you. But that's, we have to break out of that, and we have to allow Sony and Microsoft to break out of it. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. I did make a video about that, talking about that, and I think that they're gonna hint a little more things towards them. I think once we get closer to the next generation, a lot of things are gonna change, because things have already changed, and it hasn't even been a year since last E3. So imagine what it's gonna be like when the consoles launch. Like, people don't understand that, right? Like, last year, nobody even thought like PS Now or fucking God of War is never gonna be on there. Well, go fuck yourself. It's on there. Like, that's just what's gonna happen. Like, a lot of things are gonna change. Like, I'm sorry.
True.
Like, that's all. It's, a year is a long time, people. Like, I mean, the hype wasn't as big as it was last year for Xbox, and now look where we are. It's fucking obscene. Just everything changes. A lot of things are going to change, and yeah, I can't wait to see what they do.
Samantha says you get free stuff for having Plus on PlayStation on free-to-play games. It's optional. Well, if you're paying for Plus, it's not free. But I'm trying to understand what you mean by that. So they give you like little things on free-to-play games if you're a Plus member. Is that what they're saying? So, I mean, that's cool. I mean, I'm always for getting more things for your money, especially. So, I mean, I wouldn't mind that at all. It's because of PlayStation Plus that Games with Gold even exists. So keep that. You know, that's why, you know, competition's important, man. So, I mean, it's because of Xbox Live that Sony have started doing a little bit better job with their servers, but they're still not, you know, still not even close, in my opinion. It took me 7 hours to download Spider-Man. Again, I had to re-download it because for some reason it wouldn't fucking work. So at the time it was some 400 down. Now I got a gig, but it took 7 hours and 400 down on PS Plus.
You know, when I turned on my PlayStation, when I turned on my PlayStation 4 to play Death Stranding, I remember I didn't turn it on for, I don't know, like since days shit. I turned it on and it updated the PS4. It took me an hour and a half to fucking play.
Did you call Days Gone day shit?
Yeah.
Is that what you just called it? You know that game's better than Sea of Thieves, right? You love Sea of Thieves.
Don't make me fucking fight. That's it. I'm done, dude.
Okay.
I quit RDX officially.
Good. See you later, bitch.
I'm done. I'm gonna go make a Sea of Thieves podcast. Who's coming with me?
Hey, imagine if because we both ended up liking Days Gone a pretty good amount. I gave it like a 78. I think you gave it a similar rating, but it's a 71 Metascore. So keep that in mind, Sony guys. I mean, no matter what, it's trash according to your own logic. So basically, imagine if that game didn't start out so slow. Like, there was a good 15 hours there. It didn't need to be there, but that was kind of like a big criticism. It'd probably been, you know, a little higher.
Good 15 hours. Fuck.
You got 15 hours in, bitch. I want to hear it.
Bitch, I got fucking 34 hours in. Could be fucking beat the shit out of
34 hours in the menu, leaving that shit on. I'm gonna go ahead and just I got all kinds of time.
Music was fire.
Yeah. Well, when it comes down to it, God damn, the show has been going on for a minute. I mean, I ain't been keeping track of time.
I know, dude, get your head out of your ass.
Let's go ahead and talk about Tokyo Game Show. PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X are going to Tokyo Game Show. This is pretty interesting because Phil's talking about, you know what, we're going to do a much better job with Series X than we did the Xbox One. We didn't launch for 10 months in Japan after the release. We are not doing that this time around. One of the biggest complaints we have from developers over in Japan is that, and they love working with Microsoft apparently, of course they're going to say that, but Microsoft seemed like they're a lot easier to work with here lately, so I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But these Japanese developers, one of their biggest complaints is, look, there are no Xboxes on shelves really here. And because of that, they're having a hard time getting developers to be excited about bringing their games to the platform. That's something that we had talked about. Like with xCloud, you don't really have to worry about that anymore. People can play your entire library on their cell phone now in Japan. They stream games on the train there. So that's a big thing about xCloud and where their head's at. But feels like, no, we're going in with the hardware as well. We're gonna have Series X there day one and likely Lockhart, and we're gonna make sure we support it there, and we're gonna try to do a lot better there. So Phil is not joking around there, and apparently Tokyo Game Show is definitely going to be a part of that. Tim Dog, what do you think they're ramping up here with Tokyo? What do you think they might show off there? What do you think will be there?
Well, I don't know. I mean, the show's so far off, so I don't know what they're in, but if they're going to be there in a capacity where they're actually there and not, they're just saying that they're there because they have games
like
there.
Phil better be there doing handstands next to the booth,
Yeah, or so I would just put that on. They have so many shows from XO and Gamescom and obviously E3. I would just be a little on the Xbox side. I'd have a little bit of trepidation when it comes to that. How much are they really going to be involved? Now, he did go to Japan, and I do believe he got some deals for some stuff. So it's possible that that's where that's announced. But if he's there or any kind of Xbox representative is there, like Matt Booty, then that's a good thing. If he's not there and they're just showing games, it's going to be nothing.
Hey, Future Gaming says, let's take bets to see if Sony will show up. That's a good point. They have been kind of backing out of stuff. We've also got one slot. He says, it's all coming up. It's all coming up Xbox. Yes, it is, sir. Colt, you want to say something, fuckface?
Yeah, what do you want me to say?
Say hi.
I don't know when Tokyo Game Show is, but yeah.
It's tomorrow.
I don't know. It just seems like the elusive illness that we can't name is just kind of getting worse. But I also think it's one of those things that we think is bigger than it really is. I don't mean to sound callous, but I just expect this to kind of get under control, kind of like I don't know, that these events are going to happen in the summertime. Maybe this stuff right now is kind of dicey, and I don't blame people for backing out. It just kind of sucks that we're not getting the news. Like they have to come up with an alternative way. It's kind of a special situation. So stream your show from home. I don't know.
Colt, you sound really cocky because 2 weeks from now we could be in the apocalypse. You don't know.
We could be, yeah. But I mean, I've played enough Dead Island and Dying Light
to know that every time you turn around, there's a cop zombie. Huh?
Yeah, I know what to do. I'm like, I'll just grab a lead pipe.
Go watch Colt's Dying Light or Dead Island videos. There's always a damn cop zombie. Every time he turns around, he's like, huh?
Huh? Don't hit me with a lead pipe.
Please make this game better. Help.
Please make this game. Yeah, I don't know.
I heard it's coming.
Everybody's freaking out about it, and I can see why. I just wish we had more clarity of when this is going to get under wraps. I think it is going to get under control.
Yeah,
I hope. I don't know.
We'll see how it turns out. That you know what that kind of sums it all up, guys, for today. We didn't want to rant on the Series X stuff that was a big chunk, but we could have gone much longer. Trust us, we've gone for quite a while with people not knowing anything and assuming that we're just making things up. So again, we've always kind of been in the loop on this stuff. If you pay attention, you know. If you don't, then you don't hear this anyway. So again, we do get a lot of people that kind of step up and correct people a lot, though. So we want to give a shout out to all you guys on Twitter and comments and everyone that fixes the bullshit that people put out there about us. And it means a lot because we can't keep up. We can't keep up with everybody who keeps up with us. Like DMs alone, I'm getting crushed. I can't keep up with DMs. I definitely can't keep up with these people. So again, thank you guys for what you do. It's the end of the show. If you haven't,
your assistant?
No, you cannot. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, help out the show, share it with a buddy or two. And again, thank you guys for what you do. And support the panels here. Subscribe to all these guys. And we'll get into some outros. Again, shout out to everyone in the chat. I'd like to keep up better, but I can't keep up with the chat. It's impossible, and manage topics and figure out who needs to talk and what topics are good for what person. and all that stuff. Darge Knight, shout out to you, buddy. Still up that fuck. Great show, guys. Thank you. He said last week, he said, here's 10 of Her Majesty's finest. That's what he said. So
I don't know about Darge being finest. He's pretty good though.
Hey, leave Darge alone. We should have, and I'll say this. I'll say this now because we're kind of getting closer. But we should have some people coming on to the show sometime. And again, I said I wouldn't announce it as often anymore because the last time with Seamus, you know, there was unfortunately a friend of his had passed away, and you know, it's like, okay, well, I don't want to get people's hopes up, so I'll kind of spur it on maybe the week before if I got someone locked down, and you know, we'll try to announce things that way so people aren't kind of thinking there's a guest and it doesn't happen. So again, there's several people that I'm talking to. They've all agreed to come on. It's about information, the release of that information, and what they're allowed to talk about. But to my knowledge, Bill Stillwell, the head of xCloud, will likely be the next guy. And then after that, you know, we got a number of options. So again, we do have some of that stuff coming. You'll know because I'll announce it most likely. We might have a random drop in from a person here or there. But again, whoa, holy shit, what was that? But yeah, let's get into some outros, man. Tim Dog, again, man, you're always fantastic on the show, and thanks for doing what you do. And you know, hopefully you got some vindication. I know you're sitting on a pile of skulls right now and corpses after yesterday. How have things been, man? Where can people find you and what you've been playing?
You know, it was a very, very good day yesterday. So I'm happy that we, kind of got to do the show, and over 1,600 people showed, which
almost 1,700, yeah,
almost 1,700, which is just amazing. I played this weekend. I played some State of Decay, Heartland, and enjoyed it a bit. A bit.
I'm kind of looking forward to that update, man. That Juggernaut edition, some of those fixes, yeah.
And then I'm actually downloading right now Yakuza. That's available. Or I'm going to do it on Game Pass. So if you guys are, if you're interested in that game is now available. And you can find me here every Tuesday, 8 p.m. On RDX. You can also find me on Twitter, xCloud TimDog. And let the good times roll. Let's just see if they can keep up this goodwill that they're going with right now.
So we've already, I mean, all these fake insiders have already exposed themselves because the February reveal never happened. Then their power target for the X is off, and now just because they mentioned 12 before, it doesn't mean that that's what they were saying fucking 3 months ago. So
it was again, GCN when we said it's 12. They said it was GCN. It was, I mean, it's been a comical ride to this point.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just nice to actually get that final confirmation. We won't have to talk about it as much because it's now set in stone. Hopefully, Sony gives us some information and we can, start gearing up for next gen because we're getting close.
Yeah.
So, but great show tonight, and thanks for everyone showing up. Fans are great. The chat awesome as ever. Just a good time right now.
Yep. Agreed. Hey, Josh, by the way, buddy, shout out to you. He says, would like to know thoughts on maybe how you guys think E3 shaping out or what it will shape up to be. We did actually talk about that briefly during the show, buddy, so catch the replay if you didn't. Cole Eastwood, what have you been playing, man, and where can people find you?
I beat like 3 games this past week and a half. I finished the DLC for Metro. And then it's funny because Stephen Bloom does the voice of Sam in Sam's Story of Metro. And then I did Vanquish, where the guy's like, come on, get over here. And then his boss like, okay, I'm coming. Let's shoot the guys. Like, the game is so cheesy, but I had a good time playing it. But the 2 main characters are voiced by the same guy. So he was kind of doing the thing in the studio where he was standing to one side talking to himself. Don't buy that game. It's $40, and I mean, I could have just played the 360 version at 30 frames, and oh well. I'm playing A Plague's Tale: Innocence. Finally, I just started it, and it's hard to play because I'm scared.
Mega's crying. Can you guys restart from the top? I just got in.
Yeah, the Xbox is gonna have 12 teraflops, and another thing, it's gonna have wires and stuff, and
also a controller will be in the box. I think.
Maybe.
Yeah. No.
Why would you need a controller if you have no games?
No, reset it. Reset.
Soccer.
Yeah.
What?
Hey, Zach, D-Batch, what have you been playing, buddy? Where can people find you?
I've been playing a lot of VR actually. Preparing my review for the Oculus Quest. So I've been just in VR, man. You guys can catch me on Twitter, of course, at D_batch, and on YouTube at DBatch. Man, I'm excited for the next generation of consoles. My mind is blown. I can't wait to get some sleep. I haven't slept so much in the last few days. I've been partying with these Xbox guys in these gaming streets, and great show, guys.
Yes.
You need to party with us, D-Batch.
Yeah, I know, right? Fuck.
They got drugs though.
Okay.
Fuck.
Well, hey, at least D gets A+ on honesty. Zachar, where can people find you, bud? And what have you been playing besides nothing?
Kill you. No, just doing good, man. But everybody in the chat, thank you for coming today. It was awesome. A lot of good stuff about Xbox positivity. You guys can find me at Twitter, Zalker87, and of course on YouTube, Zalker87. And I've been playing Darksiders Genesis. I've been actually playing that a lot. Kind of Diablo-esque game. A lot of fun. Little rough around the edges, but I'm enjoying it. Thought it was really pretty damn good. And Zombie Army 4, obviously. And I'm gonna stop being a fraud, and I'm gonna try to give Metro Exodus another chance.
Yeah, and quit making excuses as to why you don't have gamer score at the end of your videos.
Bitch, because I suck at
I'm
getting
not
them.
very good at collecting gamer score. Oh,
I don't
boy.
go for them. The only game I really went hard.
Oh, we.
Odyssey. Well, he freaking what's the equivalent of platinum? He got every achievement in Odyssey.
I know, because he actually
That's the only
played
one.
Odyssey.
Man,
No. I hunted the last two.
I'm
I
just
think. I
saying,
was like, I'm
to
getting
get
these
gamer score, you don't have to hunt it. I don't hunt it. You have to play the game. You know,
unless
it's Mortal Kombat.
Darksiders Odyssey or Darksiders Genesis, you kind of have to hunt.
Yeah,
them.
that's like a rare exception. Yeah, you do have to hunt
Yeah,
those.
and because I have 10, and I was like, dude, I've been playing this for hell long. What the fuck's going on? And I looked them up, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm not gonna do all that. I'm just gonna enjoy the game and walk away. It's all good.
Yeah. Well, when it comes down to it, it's good to have you on the show, man. You're a good buddy, and we do give you some shit, but hopefully you'll start playing games if we do this long enough.
Don't make me kill you. Oh, and then for the games for the games with gold, the season 2 or whatever, enemies, whatever the Batman Telltale game, that's a pretty good get there. I think that's
it's pretty
cool.
good. Yeah. My girl, well, she was playing it, but I don't know, man. It's hard to keep her. Well, she did beat all the Arkham games. I'll give her props for that, but she's a fraud. Zoo Tycoon is about, that's probably the last, Slime Rancher. She plays the fuck out of Slime Rancher some days. I'm like, God damn, take a break. You fucking worse than me on a brand new game coming out. You've been here for fucking 8 hours. What the fuck?
Oh my gosh, I played Crackdown for 4 hours this weekend, and these guys are getting mad at me. So I'm like, I'm
trying to get up to that 100 hours, huh?
Yeah, you're 96 away. Keep going.
You know what? You got to give Cole a little bit. He said that years ago, right? And people still hold that over him to this day. But
man, the game
I'll
was,
say this.
delayed
I'll say
another
this.
year and a
He
half
played
when I
that
said
before it came out. He got the early copy and reviewed it. And his whole first playthrough, the hours and all that stuff aren't even logged because he was playing it before all that information was even being charted. So he does have a little bit more time than what it says. But yeah, what are you up to?
2.5 times, but I don't know. It's so funny. That game is just regular fun, but whatever. Zocker, you liked it too.
Oh, yeah, no, I liked Crackdown 3 more than I liked Day Shit. But after I said making a Sea of Thieves fucking podcast, somebody put Raymond. He put hashtag I sail with Zocker.
I sail right into a fucking cliff.
Hell yeah, we will.
I'm a legend at what? No, I missed the legend rating and the ranking system in Forza 3, except for every time I would enter a lobby, you were veteran, pro, amateur, legend if you hit 35 and higher. They would always fucking kick me out of the damn lobbies before I could race. They said, fuck this
Dealer,
guy.
what's your game this generation that is critically sucks, but you really like it? Zocker's got Sea of Thieves. I have Crackdown 3.
Critically defined critically sucks. A lot of people say a 7 sucks, but by technical score, 7 is not a bad score.
State of Decay is Dealers.
State of Decay would be that.
Yeah,
by Metascore, yeah, I gave that a 7.5, and that's what is that, a 60?
A 4 or something?
I don't know. It's like a 60.
No, I really don't know what it is.
I think it's a 6-0, I think. But
that's the one.
even
game I
Days
know
Gone, that's the 71. I like Days Gone more than that. I gave it almost an 8.
Right.
In the chat, let us know what some of the games you really
about
like that flopped critically
Super
were.
Lucky
Crackdown
Still?
3 I even enjoyed a little bit, and I didn't give two shits about that game. I think I gave that a 7 or 7.5 because that is just a fun game. Like, if you're in a party talking, you're blowing shit up, jumping around. Like, I didn't expect that. Anybody who listens to the podcast before that game came out, I didn't give two shits about that game.
Nope.
It's not
No,
like
I
something
had
I'd
to
even
convince
play
you to
now,
try
really,
it.
but I still had fun, because I needed something to play, for one, because there was no multiplats or anything out, but still.
I remember when you started playing that, you were kind of tired, and you're like, let me just check it out. You turn it on, you're like, this bitch woke me up, so it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Like
jumping
blowing shit
around,
up.
fucking blowing shit up. Like, I was like, it ain't as bad as I thought. Like, I'm having getting a little enjoyment out of this. Somebody said Destiny 2.
Oh yeah.
Days Gone. Got another Days Gone. Crackdown 3.
Anthem? Anybody?
Anthem. It better not be an Anthem. There's no excuse for that.
I actually was messing around with that too, and I was having fun for about an hour, and then you go turn in quests and nothing happens.
Hey, Aaron.
just racks
No,
up some
sir,
numbers.
Aaron. I did not. Let me find it, buddy. Sorry, I can't.
Did you
I
see
told
my
you I can't
last-
keep up with these
oh.
things. Darjanite has one too. Ooh wee. And then let's see. Aaron.
Oh my gosh.
He says, you think xCloud will help with playing your own games without having to be natively stored? Getting away with 1 terabyte internal. Yes, obviously, yeah, I do. And again, we did pretty much break that xCloud was coming to console. I think it came out in one of Jez's articles like a month later. That is the thing that is definitely coming to console. I think that's how they will get you in the game faster. And maybe you can stream it, try out a demo without downloading anything for one. And maybe you can even start downloading it and, in the background while you're streaming it without having to wait for anything. Like, that could be another way that could get into the game. It's one thing that Stadia does that consoles don't do now. And with xCloud on console, you can get away with that. And you can imagine after a year or two, like, the base Xboxes won't support newer games anymore. Initially when they said beyond generations, I was like, how the fuck are they going to do that? Like, how are they going to use the base models forever? That's not what they mean by that. They mean, look, everything you buy is coming with you. You're never having to start over again. It's beyond generations. It makes sense now. But, at the time, it looked a little different. With those older consoles out of the fray in a year or two, eventually it will happen. They've pretty much confirmed it. You can have xCloud on those devices. That's 40 million, capable devices right there. So maybe they're looking at it from a number of different angles. But hey, again, shout out to 1,000 people just listening to us fucking sit here and ramble. I want to say thanks to everyone who watched live, guys. If you haven't already, hit that like button, share it out for us, help us out a little bit. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon, check out my video that came out earlier today. Colt had one to come out today as well. We couldn't.
Was
didn't
that
have
today?
It. That was today.
Oh my gosh, it feels like, because you just said earlier, I was talking to Colt yesterday or last night. I'm like, that was like 4 hours ago.
No, was it? Damn.
Like, we're like so out of it. I got like 4.5 hours of sleep.
I've been
last
so
night.
busy over the past couple of days,
Oh,
so it's
man.
like I didn't have time to make a video on the thing that I, of all people, should have had a video out on yesterday. So,
Well, I mean, you opened it up with I'm going to sit in an L-shaped chair and take the biggest L. Like, it was great. Like,
I said, this is how confident we were, Tim and I, on this 12 teraflops. I said, if it's even 11.5, I'll smoke an L-shaped cigarette while sitting on an L-shaped couch playing a game on an L-shaped controller, eating a bowl of frosted L's. Like, we do this shit, right? So again, I just thought I'd turn it into a joke. But yeah, Aaron, that is going to be definitely a thing.
Y'all didn't know shit.
And shout out to you guys for tuning in, and you power the show. You make it everything that it is. Again, we are going to get the fuck out of here, get some food, play some games, and maybe go die. So thanks for rocking out with us. We're out. Don't go subscribe to Zalker.
I knew it. You said subscribe to all these guys, and you didn't say like except Zalker, and I was like, it's coming.
Okay, subscribe to Zalker, but then downgrade all stuff and then unsubscribe.